You just have to edit. The same as well, that same productivity has been brought into security as well. So you can manage it. AI just helps you for any kind of threats on the landscape, even anticipates any form of threats. So AI is going to be a blessing, and if not properly harnessed, can also be a curse. So harness it very well.
You were mentioning training earlier. This is every employee, or just the what they explain as far as the training and preparing yourself to make sure that you are not not at risk yet. This is for it cuts across
from the CEO down to the cleaner. It cuts across everybody
because everybody's touching on machines and so on and so forth. Okay, we have a new minister of the ICT and digital economy, Dr. Bosun Tijani. He's got a lot of priorities. They just mentioned the $500 million fund for SMEs and so on. Where would the ministry rank cybersecurity threats as far as their scope of what they're looking at for the country?
I guess you should give it critical attention. Yes, because look at it, we order for things online. Our transportation is online. Education most times is online. So we should not just really ignore. That part should be given critical attention. And for the Honorable Minister, congratulations, Mr. Bosun Tijani. But one thing should be put on ground as soon as possible, which is have a framework that cuts across from NGOs to schools to hospitals to the government, even to the private sector. There should be a proper enactment. Cyber attacks are happening, but they are not reported, or they are not even recorded. But if you have, when you put proper enactment, whereby anything goes wrong, that will make people sit up and make sure that the cyberspace, wherever they're operating, is properly secured. So what I would advise the minister to do is just come up with a robust cybersecurity and information road plan that will help the country.
Okay, what about, I want to ask you about manpower to defend against these things. What I'm asking about is about skills, because of course, the government wants to build 1 million digital skills. How would you assess the skills level for young tech folks in the country?
Well, it's growing and it's promising. Yes, why I say it's growing is because people are entering into the field, are learning and becoming exposed to the technology. And why I say it's promising, because there are jobs available for it. Yes, there are jobs both nationally and internationally. There are jobs available for it. So the skills is available, but most times we have little for much jobs.
Right.
Yeah, so that is why most times when the best offer that comes, see, most of our young tech guys, they probably go abroad where the offer is better than actually here. So it's still evolving, and we'll make progress.
How has if I can ask you about your own company, how has the Jaffa phenomenon, if you will, impacting tech firms here like yourself?
Yes, it has impacted. It has impacted, and most times most companies want to please give us a clear notice.
Before you leave?
Yes, before you leave, because it's critical. Because as I said earlier, most of our operations practically run online.
Right.
So you are the tech guys, you're the one that handling and manage these things. So please, before you leave, let us know. So most times HR personnel, they send it out, please, if you are going, let us know. So we can actually prepare. Because the outside world looks attractive to our guys.
Yeah.
Because our guys are talented, well-skilled, and they are rugged.
Yeah.
So everywhere you go to the likes of the Amazon, the Googles, the Microsoft, all across Europe, all across America, down to Australia, you'll find at least a handful of Nigerian guys doing great things.
So if and they say this in the medical sector and everywhere else, right? If we could harness that here, wouldn't that mean that we, so what's missing? What is missing? Is it because you were with us when we had the Minister of Finance and his speech in the morning? So how do you bring all that back home?
As I said, this is where I feel the Honourable Minister should. I believe he could do something good. It says that let's make a win-win. Why do I say win-win? I'll give an example with the GDP.
GDP group.
Okay. That's the Global Protection, Detection and Regulation in EU.
Fine.
Yeah, the EU body that regulates information data security. And your data can't stay in the repository of any firm for more than 3 months.
Okay.
After 3 months, if anything goes wrong, that firm will actually be penalized.
Right.
Over here, companies have our data and
just
it's like forever.
Yeah.
So these are things that by the time this enactment comes, if you want to keep our citizens' data for 3 months, we'll allow you. But after that, you pay a fine, or you pay money if you want to keep it in your repository.
Right.
So that there can be balance. Let the companies coming into Nigeria give us a level playing field. let our people as well have a level who can as well harness and show their skills.
Yeah.
Let the government as well create an enabling environment to be a win-win for everybody
across the value chain.
Because I tell you what, Nigeria is a good place to stay.
Right.
Even if the money you're going to earn abroad. But true about it is that the environment is not conducive for our tech guys and other professionals as well.
Look, this has been a very informative conversation. It's Ikechukwu Louis Bruce, lead cybersecurity at Discussio. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. I hope that was quite informative. Hello, everyone. If you can hear me, I want you to indicate that you can hear me. Good morning, everyone. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Okay. So we are good to go. So are we ready? Yeah,
yes,
we're ready. I am ready.
We are
ready. So the first thing first, we would like to say a word of prayer. Okay, so that we can start. So everything good has to start with. Heavenly Father, we thank you for another opportunity right here in your presence. We commit this meeting into your hands. We ask, oh God, King of glory, that, oh God, you will guide us. Lord, you will inspire us. Bible said there is a spirit in man. It is the inspiration of the Almighty that will give him understanding. Father, Lord, I ask, oh God, by reason of this information that we're going to be obtaining today, Lord, this information will benefit us in the mighty name of Jesus. It will open doors for us in the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you for everything, because the Bible said that, grace and peace will multiply to you according to the knowledge that you have. This knowledge will bring about, Lord, opportunities, open doors in many places. Thank you, Heavenly Father, for in Jesus' mighty name we pray.
Amen.
Okay, so thank you very much. I want to welcome you once again to this program. So the next thing we're going to have here, it's let's take our national anthem. Okay, it's where most of us are Nigerians. Sorry if you're not in Nigeria. It's our culture in this place to, to take our national anthem. Just oblige us, for now. Okay, thank you very much. So can we put on the anthem lyrics, so we can take it,
or both?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, so we are not going to waste any more time. First of all, this is Coinbox Limited. It's bringing this training, to you. Let me just. This training is brought to you courtesy of Coinbox Limited. Okay, so who are we? Okay, Coinbox is a management consulting firm who provide business solutions and support to companies along 7 key pillars, which are business management, business finance, human capital, marketing, business operations, information and communication technology, ICT, and SME development. Okay, so we already start in October 2008, but started operation in 2012, June. Okay, Our solutions and support are multi-sector and multi-layered for our vast clientele. We have something for you as a startup, small, medium, growing or large enterprise, cooperative society, group, association, and even government. We create and support ideas. We provide solutions. We create and support systems. Okay, and our core values are these: SEED, which is sustainability in the value creation for all our stakeholders, empower through collaboration and training, excellence in our signature, dynamism by encouraging creativity and change. Okay, and our vision is to be among the top 3 names in Africa in the next 3 years for business process and systems improvement, employee development and support, SME development and support. Okay, and our mission is to be the leading name for business optimization in Africa. Okay, the summary of our services: we provide solutions, we generate and support business ideas, we build and sustain systems. Okay, so and then this is the summary of our services. Okay, we management services, strategic business review, design, implementation, review, and monitoring, organizational restructuring, business systems, employee reorientation, culture, succession plan, and transitioning. Okay, business development services, business plans, proposals and profiles, feasibility studies and market research, product design and activation, business incubation, financial advisory services, negotiation and structuring, finance and capital sourcing and project finance, investment advisory, cooperative services. Okay, then we do human capital solutions, training, business management, marketing and marketing communications, human resources, soft skills, ICT, and SME development. Okay, we do recruitment, middle level staff, senior stroke executive staff, board stroke direct head hunting, contracts and field staff, outsourcing, backyard checks. Okay, onboarding, staff stroke project team. Okay, outsourcing, staff, project team, and performance management, that's design and implementation, organization, staff, project team, and information and communication technology, design and review, setup and management strategy, cyber systems, media and marketing communications. We do marketing consultancy, product branding and introductory marketing, digital media solutions, website design and development, design and management of feedback channels. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. So without wasting any more time, I would like to invite Mr. Ayo Emahume so that he can take us on from this point. Ayo is the MD of Coinbox Limited. Thank you very much. I want you to, with a round of applause, let's welcome Mr. Ayo Emahume.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Ruben. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon for those not in Nigeria. On the other side of the divide, good evening and good day to everyone. Thank you so much for being part of this program. We are very much excited to have you here. This is a program run by Coinbox Limited in collaboration with StrongDigi. We appreciate your being here, and we hope you do not leave here the same, but fully loaded with enough information with respect to cyber security. We want to change the world together, one person at a time. How did we get here? We were doing a study some time ago, and we realized that with the coming up of new trends like the artificial intelligence, introduction of 5G, so many things will happen. One of them is that a lot of people will lose their jobs. It's not about losing jobs now. The issue is in the area of their jobs will be redefined. And a lot of repetitive jobs, which includes jobs like those of the accountants, those of the economists, those of the engineers, those jobs will be taken over by AI. And so if AI is doing it, who will now do which kind of jobs will be left The jobs that will be left are the jobs that are relational or that requires human intervention. So those are jobs like the HR. The HR person will not be losing his job anytime soon. It's just that the job roles will be redefined. And part of that is running an organization. The business leaders of the future, not when I say future in this case, we are talking of in the next 5 years and above, if not earlier. The business leaders will be people coming from the areas of HR. That's when we realize what are those trends that are coming up that will affect these people and stop them from being effective on their jobs. One of them is the fact that they need to have business acumen, know what it takes to run a business, know what it takes to administer a business, and not just focus on the people management aspect. They now need to be able to run the business as HR, but as the MD CEO. And then in line with that too, the future is technology. Bill Gates said some time ago that any business that is not online today is a business that is extinct. And any person too that is not also in the online trend is someone that is getting extinct. And in line with that, we now decide what is the major thing that will be affecting the HR in meeting their job or affecting business leaders that will be stopping them from doing their job effectively. The main thing that will be stopping them is cyber security. They'll be faced with a lot of cyber attacks, from different angles and in different forms. They'll be exposed to all kinds of cyber attacks, all kind of cyber malfunctions. So we decided to come up with this program as our own way of supporting them and strengthening them and preparing them in their industry for that time. So if you are here, you are a HR person, you are someone in the HR field, or you are someone, you are a business leader, you are in the right place, and this program is designed specifically for you. We hope that you participate fully by being part of the whole program, including our panel sessions. Ask questions, reach out, be free. We are here for you. That's why we organize this program. It's freely for you. And I want to thank the speakers because I know we have put them under a lot of pressure, but they've delivered and they are here today. I can see Dr. Isiawe, I can see Precious, I can see Ikechukwu, I can see Ruben. I think David should be there now, but I can't see him yet, but I know he'll be here. So you are all welcome, and we really appreciate your agreeing to work with us in achieving this feat. We are grateful to the Information Security Society of Africa in Nigeria for agreeing to partner with us. And we even have the president that is going to give us the keynote address. We are really grateful, and we look forward to more partnership in the near future as the program series runs, because this program is a series that will be running. This is the first of it. Many more will be coming. There will be at least one more this year and then many more next year. So thank you everyone for being part of this program. We appreciate you. And like Ruben had listed out in Coinbox, who we are management consultants, and we run a management consulting company. What we do is we add value to businesses, and we help businesses in the biggest room in the world, which is the room for improvement. Every business, no matter how good they are, there's always room to be better. And it is those that stay in the path of innovation to remain better. Those are the industry leaders. That is why the tech companies are ahead. But even in the tech field, those that don't stay better by innovating and improving, they get extinct, or they get ridden over by those that are continuously improving. And so that is part of the tenets of this program, that this is our own way of helping you improve and encouraging you to improve and helping you to be better, because that's what Coinbox Limited is all about. We hope you enjoy the program. I am going to be handing over now to the keynote speaker. That's in the person of Dr. Isiawe. He would be coming on board after his introduction by our admin who will be reading out his profile. Immediately after that, please let us welcome him with a round of applause. Thank you once again and have a wonderful day.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Ayo, for that wonderful introduction. Once again, you're welcome to today's training section, Unleashing Cybersecurity Excellency. My name is Ojobo Somtochukwu, and we're happy to have you. So coming up is our speaker, Dr. David Isiawe. So who is Dr. David Isiawe? Dr. David Isiawe is the current chairman of the Statutory Audit Committee of Nigeria Interbank Settlement System PLC. He was recently appointed as the Chief Compliance Officer of EcoBank Nigeria Limited. Prior to this appointment, he was the executive in charge of the operations and the technology of the bank. He is also the current president and chairman board of trustees of the Information Security Society of Africa, Nigeria, a not-for-profit organization focused on securing the cyberspace of Africa. Dr. David sits on the Governing Council of FinTech Association of Nigeria, an umbrella body of FinTech and the FinTech ecosystem in Nigeria. Mr. David is also a member of the Digital Economy Working Group of the Joint Ministry Advisory Council on Trade and Investment of the Binational Commission between the Republic of South Africa and the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Dr. David was previously General Manager and Chief Audit Executive of Union Bank of Nigeria, PLC, as well as the Chief Operating Officer, UBA Africa. Also, he was the Deputy Managing Director and Chief Operating Officer of Banque Internationale de Burkina in Burkina Faso, West Africa. Prior to that, he was Chief Compliance Officer of United Bank of Africa, as well as the Chief Audit Executive of UBA PLC. Dr. David Isiawe has approximately 30 years working experience, spanning the banking industry as well as the academia, having been a lecturer at the Department of Accounting, University of Benin, from 1989 before joining Citibank in 1992, where he rose to the rank of Vice President based in Cape Town, South Africa. Dr. David holds a PhD degree in accounting. His key areas of interest and specialization include digital transformation, corporate governance, business transformation or turnaround, and the security of information systems. He is a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, an honorary senior member of the Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria, and he is a certified information system security professional by the ISC of the United States of America. He was also certified in the governance of enterprise information technology by ISACA, also in the United States of America. Dr. David holds additional professional certifications and has attended extensive international certification courses in diverse fields of study from notable universities like Harvard University, Boston University, University of Oxford, Said Business School, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and a host of other institutions. Dr. David will be speaking to us for only 30 minutes. The 25 minutes, he will go through his discourse and he will have about 5 minutes to take questions from the audience. So I encourage each and every one of you to do well to note your questions, because there will be limited time, and probably take questions from only the first 3 hands to go up. Okay. So finally, ladies and gentlemen, join me to welcome Dr. David Isiawe.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much for that extensive and elaborate introduction.
Sorry, Dr. David, I'm so sorry. You'll need to, I think the volume is low. We can't hear you.
The volume is low on my part or on your part?
I can hear you, Doctor.
Still can't hear you.
I could hear him.
I can hear Doctor. I can hear Doctor.
Okay. So can we do something, please? If you can hear me loud and clear, can we indicate by a show of hands, please? Just indicate by a show of hands. If you can hear me loud and clear. Show of hands. Okay. Thank you very much. All right. So what it means is that for those, since the system is the same, right, on my side, then it means, now let's go to the other side. If you cannot hear me loud and clear, can I see by a show of hands? If you cannot hear me properly, so how many people cannot hear me properly?
It's just one.
Oh, just one. All right. So what that means is that, you know, that one person should, sorry, first of all, apologies for that, but see if you can adjust your system, because the person who said that he couldn't hear me, in fact, I was hearing him, his voice was busting my ears on this side. So let's see if you can take 1 minute to adjust your system, check your volume, etc., and then we'll start. Is that okay?
I hear you clearly now.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
So, okay. So thank you very much for that very extensive and elaborate introduction. I was actually wondering if, you know, I was the person we were talking about or somebody else. But ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to be here. I sent you my presentation material. I don't know now if somebody is going to share it, or I can just speak on without, you know.
We'll share it for you now. We are uploading it.
Okay.
Yes. In another 2 minutes, it should be up.
All right. Otherwise, if I have the anyways, okay, you can share it, you know.
Okay. But you can go ahead and share. I think we can make you.
You can go ahead and share. You are the co-host.
I tried to see if I could share my screen now, but you know, let's see.
Yeah, you can share. You can share. You are a co-host, sir.
Okay, let's see if I can share. Select the tab to share. What can I share now? See, no, Windows, entire screen. All right.
We can see it.
Okay, can everyone see my screen?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you very much. So,
Yes.
I believe it's on slideshow.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's now go to. First of all, I was just saying that it's a pleasure to be amongst us today to speak for a few minutes on a topical issue of cybersecurity. When Mr. Ayo Emakume was given the opening address, you know, was talking about the future 5 years from now. Actually, the future is here today. ladies and gentlemen. The future has come. And this is the technology age. Today, data is the new oil. That's the new oil. We're in the information age. So everything now, whatever is not capable of being digitalized now, it's not likely to survive in the next 12, 18 months. So the future has already come. It's taken a lot of us by surprise, but there it is. So good morning, ladies and gentlemen. And then I would like to stand on existing protocols adequately established. It's indeed a pleasure to have everyone here today as we gather to explore the crucial topic of cybersecurity, especially as it relates to the practice of human resources in Nigeria and across the world, for that matter. First and foremost, I'd like to express my gratitude to Coinbox for organizing this session today, to all of our speakers, and to everyone, each and every one of you attending this session today. Your participation underscores the significance of cybersecurity in today's world. It also demonstrates your commitment to ensuring the safety, confidentiality, and integrity of personnel records and data. I said earlier on that data is now the new oil. Data constitutes what we call crown jewels, and they are actually very, very valuable. As we go along in this presentation and in the subsequent presentations that you will hear, I believe that we will gain more insights and see more perspectives regarding how critical and how crucial data is. In today's digital age, where technology and connectivity have become an integral part of business, the role of cybersecurity cannot really be overstated. It serves as a bedrock of trust and confidence in our operations, as the privacy and sensitivity of human resources records must be maintained, especially in this current age of digitalization. As we navigate the ever-evolving landscape of cyber threats, ladies and gentlemen, it is essential that we remain vigilant and we also proactive in our approach, because cybersecurity is a shared responsibility. At this point in time, I'm actually tempted to throw a little more light, to shed a little more perspective on that concept of cybersecurity. What is cybersecurity itself? The term cybersecurity, I hope that other speakers will speak and give us more details, simply refers to the entire gamut, the collection of all of the policies, procedures, devices, technologies that are used to secure systems, networks, data against attacks. Those attacks are called cyber attacks. And every form of mechanism, processes, including the people and the devices, as well as the technologies that work together in a collaborative manner to protect our data and computer systems and networks, are referred to as cybersecurity. And cybersecurity is not an end state. It is indeed a journey. And it is one that has, incidentally, a very big room, that room for continuous improvement. So by investing the time and resources in robust cybersecurity measures, organizations can effectively safeguard their systems and prevent unauthorized access and mitigate potential risks. So all of the systems that we use today, the applications that are used to provide service to customers, whether they are human resource services or other types of services, whether they are banking services, financial services, management, information systems type services, advisory services, whatever it is. The systems that are used for all of those services have three key components. We call the three components AIC. So in cybersecurity parlance, you have the availability of the systems, the integrity of the systems, and the confidentiality of the systems. That is AIC. A lot of people refer to these. Sorry, please, can we mute ourselves if we're not addressing the crowd? Thank you. A lot of people refer to these three terms as CIA, but I choose to call them AIC. They stand for the same thing: availability, integrity, and confidentiality of information systems. So cybersecurity refers to the collection of processes, policies, skills, technologies, and as well as devices that are used to protect the availability, the integrity, and confidentiality of information systems. Today's discussions will delve deep into the implications of cyber threats on HRO data management in organizations. The expert speakers that have been put together will explore the challenges faced by the industry and uncover strategies and countermeasures to address these risks head-on. But beyond today's event, ladies and gentlemen, it is important to recognize that cybersecurity is a journey as well as a shared responsibility. Everyone is involved in it. Everyone is responsible for it. We all need to protect our own little spaces where we operate, where we work, what we do individually as individual consumers of services as well. There are do's and don'ts in cyberspace. Ensuring that we have secure platforms, systems, services, and data requires collaboration. It also requires curated information sharing and a collective commitment from all stakeholders. Together, we can strengthen our defenses, stay ahead of emerging threats, and foster a secure environment for our respective industries to thrive. I am truly excited about the wealth of knowledge and insights that will be shared during this event. I'm sure we saw a peep of that before the event started, during that video clip, that interview that was shown earlier on. Let us embrace this opportunity to learn, also the opportunity to unlearn as well as relearn, and then to exchange our own experiences and forge connections that will propel us all towards a more resilient, safe, and secure future. Now, what does a cyber threat landscape look like? What exactly does it look like? When we say there will be cyber attacks, and so the availability, the integrity, and confidentiality of our data, of our systems, and our networks all need to be protected. What is that threat landscape, by the way? What does it look like? Now, I won't attempt to go into too much detail at this point. I'm sure that the speakers would speak more in detail. But I'll take just one or two or three, especially as they relate to the HRO function. Okay, so the first thing to note about the threat landscape is that it is one space, a space that is always evolving. It is always changing, i.e. the attack space. It might interest you to note that, for instance, on a daily basis, take the annual basis, for instance, you have over 500 500 million phishing attacks reported last year, 2022. Over 500 phishing attacks. There were also over 493 million phishing attacks. So 500 million phishing attacks and about approximately 493 million ransomware attacks, 2022. These were the attacks that were reported globally. And it's also interesting to note that not all the attacks were reported, but these are the ones that were actually recorded. 500 million phishing attacks, 493 million ransomware attacks, 2022. So for that to happen, you can just imagine how busy that space is, especially for those who were being attacked, for those who were reporting, those who were being attacked and who did not report, as well as those who were attacked and did not even know that they were attacked. And so for this purpose, I classify all businesses into two categories. Those, category A, those who have been attacked and they are aware, and those who have been attacked and they don't even know that they have been attacked. Those are the two categories. What that simply means is that all organizations have been attacked one way or the other. And the list you see here, the list of the attack typologies that you see on the screen, that this list is not even comprehensive. I call it a redacted list because, you know, there's no point throwing in everything here, especially if most of the participants on this call today are, you know, HR related experts or professionals. So I try to put in items that we can relate with on an easy basis, all right? So some of the typologies here, you see general phishing and spear phishing attacks. That's what you see mostly on the cyber threat landscape. So all of those email, what are general phishing attacks, by the way? Those are those email messages or SMS messages or essentially WhatsApp messages, whatever type of message that you receive that is being sent by an attacker in order to gain information from you, to steal your information, or to have unauthorized access to data and systems, or the objective is actually to steal, ultimately to steal your money. Those messages are called phishing messages. Then you want to go specifically into, if there are SMS messages, then you call them smishing messages. And if it is voice calls, sometimes people still receive voice calls. We call them phishing attacks. But let us focus on phishing messages, general messages that we receive, especially through email, through WhatsApp, all of those messages that are designed to fool people so that people can actually, you know, you click on the link and then unfortunately, once you click on the link, there's a rogue program that is running underneath. And those programs can do a lot of damage. Some of them can actually install they can install keystroke loggers, or what is called key loggers for short, on your systems. And everything you type, there is a rogue program running underneath. It will be sending the keys to a control or command center somewhere else, and you will not know. To just be sending an email message underneath, and you will not be aware. So those general phishing messages are very many. And in 2022, like I said, over 500 phishing messages were recorded, of 500 million phishing attacks. What about spear phishing? Spear phishing refers to a specific targeted attack. So the phishing message is not one that was sent to a lot of people. The message is sent to specific persons or organizations that the attackers want to hack. That's the difference between the general phishing message. So a general phishing message can go to 1 million people or 100,000 users or 50,000 users. The attackers don't know them. And when you receive those messages, you will know that the person sending you this message does not know you. But people don't pay, because people do not pay enough attention. That's why they fall victim to such messages. The spear phishing ones are more deadly, and they're actually more difficult to spot because they are sent to specific targets. What about social engineering attacks? We see social engineering attacks every day. They are everywhere. These are the attacks that focus on human beings, on like human emotions. And we call this group of attacks, this attack typology, as hacking humans, because it is the human element that is actually the target of this attack. So somebody knows that you are a nice person, and the person sends you a message showing a child who has a heavy bandage at the abdomen, and the message is that, please help, help, help. This child will die in the next 6 hours. Just send only 25,000 naira to this bank account. That kind of message, social engineering attack. People will just start crediting the account. Meanwhile, the fraudster will be using the money, and there's no child that is sick. I'm sure that we've seen those kinds of messages. And sometimes you receive a message saying that your bank account has been blocked, or your ATM card has been blocked, or your account is being upgraded. Please, you must do something, and if you don't do it, something will happen, or your account will no longer work, or you receive a phone call and somebody is talking to you, pretending to be a colleague who is somewhere else, who is stranded and he needs help. Those kinds of attacks, or up to even what you call tailgating attacks. They are all part of hacking the human beings, social engineering type of attacks involving either human kindness or human emotions. So you have a card, your access card to open a door. You open the door and somebody else is following you into the office or following you into that space. And the person is just walking away, and you too, you're walking away. That is a form of social engineering attack. In the offices, people use their systems. They are logging onto their ID, logging onto their profiles, putting in their IDs and passwords. Somebody else is standing there and looking. That's called shoulder surfing. Person is looking over your shoulders, looking at your keypad, and takes note of your password or your PIN. A lot of people do not pay attention to these things. That is also a social engineering attack. And then the information can be used, your ID and password can be used to log onto the system when you are not there, and whatever is done will be traced to you, whereas somebody else has done the action. So that is a problem. There are many different types of social engineering attacks. Even in organizations, somebody can pretend to be a staff who is not a staff and send a message or call HR and pretend to be asking about somebody else. The HR person wants to be nice, and you provide all the information, and at the end of the day, the information can be misused or used for fraudulent purposes. What about ransomware? We see a lot of ransomware attacks. Again, I mentioned that 2022 ransomware attacks reported globally were 493 million. If you think about what's happening in the physical realm, like especially some parts, the northeastern part of Nigeria, some part of, especially, Zamfara State, Niger State, etc., where you still have a bit of kidnapping, and then somewhere in the southeast, a bit of kidnapping, somewhere in the Midwest, where people are kidnapped, and then you pay a ransom, and then the victim is released. If you put that on the digital space, ransomware simply refers to digital kidnapping. In this case, your computer system is encrypted, is blocked. You cannot have access to the system. You do not have access to the data. And then the attacker will ask you to pay a ransom. Usually that ransom is paid in the form of cryptocurrency. And once that ransom is paid, then they release back your files. That is what ransomware is. It's a very big problem globally. It happens in Nigeria. It happens in other countries in Africa. It happens in the US, in the UK, all parts of the world. Ransomware is happening. It's a very big problem. If you imagine that there were 493 million cases reported in 2022, step back and see how many ransomware cases happened in one day. That is over 1 million, about 1,300,000 on average per day. That's a very big problem. So, and it's still happening, digital kidnapping. Every organization can be attacked. And so it's important that we're all first of all aware, and then we take basic measures and precautions to ensure that when the attack happens, it is no longer a question of if it will happen. When it happens, we are prepared and we know how to identify such attacks and how to respond to the attacks and to recover from the attacks. And I believe that is part of the objective of today's engagement. So that's ransomware, otherwise known as digital kidnapping, where access to systems are blocked through encryption by the hackers, and then the victims are required to pay a ransom before they are given back their data or before they are given back access to their systems. And then a very popular one that we have in Nigeria, which is quite unfortunate, are the employment scams. These are also cyber attacks. Almost on a daily or weekly basis, these messages are going around. You have been profiled for a job, 50,000 naira per day, please. And they will indicate a telephone number. In some cases, they will indicate a link. And it is a big problem, the employment scams. And I'm sure we've heard about how people went and applied to these agencies and to these, based on the messages they received, and how they eventually ended up being physically kidnapped in some cases. In other cases, there were further extortions going on as well. And then business email compromise attacks. This is a particularly difficult one, especially for HRO practitioners, because a lot of the messages get compromised. The message is trapped and then modified and released to employees, in some cases vendors, in some cases management. It's a big problem. Business email compromise, otherwise known as BEC attacks. You will think the message is actually coming from your MD. The message is not coming from the MD. It's coming from somebody else who is an attacker or a hacker. And HRO practitioners have been known to actually take action. A lot of those types of messages, which are BEC messages, business email compromise messages, and a lot of havoc has been reported over the past 3, 4, 5 years. NIN scams, this happen from time to time. Password and ID theft, especially on WhatsApp, this is steadily rising. I'm sure that we've heard about it. Some of us have experienced it, where a hacker will just take over the WhatsApp profile of somebody and then start using it to ask for money around the whole place. Then you have the DOS and DDoS attacks. I hope the further speakers will talk about this, which is preventing you. This actually attacks the availability pillar of your systems, of your data. The DOS stands for denial of service. DDoS stands for distributed denial of service. So that's DOS attacks and DDoS attacks, denial of service attacks and distributed denial of service attacks. we see a lot of that on the horizon. In some cases, people do not even know that they are under a DOS or DDoS attack. All they just know is that their systems keep rolling and rolling. They cannot access the system. They don't know that it's specific attacks. What of whaling attacks? Whaling attacks also are a form of phishing, spear phishing attacks, but to only the very, very important VIPs. That's whaling attack. So it comes from the concept of whales, the whales in the waters, in the oceans. When you attack a very big fish, specifically, that's a whaling attack. Or there could be the different attacks we see on the horizon, could be a combination of all of these. So these are just some of the types of cyber threats that we see on the horizon. Now, what about fines and penalties that have been given out, issued to organizations in the past few months or the past few years? This is one area that we all need to pay particular attention to. The reason is that in Nigeria, for instance, we have a new law on data privacy, which is the Nigerian Data Privacy or that Nigerian Data Protection Law. That was signed into effect by our new president in the month of June. Before that, we had the NDPR, Nigeria Data Protection Regulation. That's for Nigeria. Across the world, there are other types of laws, data protection laws. You have the General Data Protection Regulation. I hope the other speakers will speak about that as well. The point I'm trying to make here is that there are huge penalties for not protecting, for not keeping safe the data of organizations, especially organizations that capture and keep data of other persons, otherwise known as personally identifiable information. These laws are in place. We have them in Nigeria. They exist in China. They exist in the UK. They exist in the US. They exist in Germany, Ireland, everywhere. And every violation normally would require a penalty. And the penalties could be very, very severe. For instance, there is a company called Didi Global in China. I think they've had the biggest fine for not protecting their data to date. They were hit for 1.1, approximately 1.2, really, $1.2 billion. That's in China, $1.2 billion. That's Didi. And when you are hit in that manner, you must pay. It's a law. You violate the law, you must meet the penalty. And so, how many organizations in the world can withstand a fine of $1.2 billion? A lot of companies will just fold up. What about Amazon? Amazon was hit for $877 million in 2021 for not protecting their data properly. And these are breaches against the GDPR that I just mentioned, General Data Protection Regulation that exists and operates in Europe. There are a number of companies like Equifax. Equifax was hit for $575 million. That was about 5 years ago, $575 million. And then if you talk about Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, all of these were hit across the past few years at different times. In Nigeria, we have also had a few of our entities that were penalized for not protecting the data that they have. The companies that we work for, the data that we have today, given the new data protection law that has been signed into effect by our president in 2023 in the month of June, I can almost tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that we'll begin to see cases of penalties, even more going into the future. So everyone needs to be ready, to be aware, and to be protected. And so, in conclusion, cybercrime continues to account for more and more financial losses to organizations. Also, the leak of private data and information could have negative effects on individuals and organizations, including huge fines. We've mentioned some of the huge fines already by the regulatory bodies. And by the way, if you have data of anyone, any international person, you collect their data and you violate the data gets breached, you can get heavily penalized. If you have the data of Nigerians, you collect such data and they get breached, the Nigerian regulators would also impose penalties and fines. And from what we have seen, the fines and the penalties are increasing. Apart from the fines and penalties, even the sheer fact that there was a data breach, a significant data breach that makes the headlines, that in itself could be a major problem in terms of reputation, in terms of lost business, in terms of loss of confidence. So it is a very big problem. It's an area that requires the attention of everyone. There's therefore a need for all stakeholders to keep the focus on securing the data, securing the networks and systems always. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank all of you for being here. Let us make the most of this event and work together to reinforce the trust and confidence that underpin the key role that the HRO function plays in the entire ecosystem. I wish you all very engaging and fruitful time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Isiawe. That was awesome. That was awesome. Thank you so very, very much. We really appreciate it. Please, another round of applause for him. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. You know, so much. In fact, it's like you've covered everything already for a keynote. Starting with the very beginning, I had to listen again where you said the future has already come. The future is here already, and that I was saying 5 years, and it's actually in the next 18 months. Any company that is not online is going extinct. I mean, that was serious. And the entire gamut of and then, you know, you defined cybersecurity, and then you talked about the CIA, which you defined yours as the AIC, availability, integrity, and confidentiality of data. And the key thing you also mentioned was the fact that everybody is involved in it. It is everybody's responsibility. It is not one person. It is not the IT department, and it's not even just the HR department. It is everybody. And it is constantly evolving, because the only constant thing in life is change. Cybersecurity has to evolve with how man is changing. And look at that data. Over 500 million phishing attacks in 500 million. That is about, is it not 10% or 15% of the world's population? Phishing attacks. And then, you know, you now mentioned the new ones. There is phishing we are used to. Then he now talked about smishing and vishing. And of course, we now mentioned the spear phishing, social engineering, digital kidnapping. Boko Haram has moved online. Digital kidnapping. The DOS and the DDoS attacks. Then the business attacks, whaling attacks. There are so much. And then look at that new information. I didn't even know that we now have our NDPR. I know and I'm familiar with GDPR, but I didn't know we had NDPR. But the underlying factor, which was what he closed with, which we should hold on to, keep your records safe. Any record you have of yourself, of any other person, keep it safe. Because if it's through you that that record is breached, you will be dealt with. No mercy. You will. So keep records safe. Keep records safe. Please, once again, another round of applause. We are so much grateful for your keynote. It has been awesome. So much information, so much to learn. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you.
So we move into the next session. The next person coming in is Mr. Joel Omeke. Key will be talking about he'll be talking about HRM, that's the HR manager, as the modern business leader. His talk would be for 30 minutes, which somewhere in between he would take time for question and answer. But before we go to Mr. Joel, Somto Chukwu Ojobo will be reading out his profile. But before Somto even goes into that, Bamidele Raymond has raised his hand. I think we should allow him. Bamidele,
yeah.
I hope you are still there. I think Bamidele has something for you.
Yeah, no, it's what you can deal with. The aspect I mentioned, the integrity, the acronyms, and the full meaning. I lost that.
Well, we mentioned what the integrity, sorry.
AIC.
Oh, okay.
Availability,
okay,
integrity, and confidentiality.
Okay, so what do we say they are?
AIC.
No, what do we say that should be?
They represent information system. Oh, sorry, Dr. Isiawe, please go ahead.
Hold on, I'm here. They represent the AIC. The AIC are the three key pillars of cyber security.
Okay, thank you.
AIC. So all of the cyber security measures and techniques and devices, processes and policies are in place to protect these three pillars: the availability, the integrity, and confidentiality of information systems. So your data, even your data, the availability of the data, the integrity of the data, and the confidentiality of the data must be protected. And that is what cybersecurity does. That's the primary objective of cybersecurity, to protect them from attacks. I hope that is clear.
Very clear.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Raymond. So again, I cannot thank Dr. Isiawe enough. I will keep thanking you and state we are very grateful, because I know you are very busy. So being available today is a great deal, and we really appreciate. Another round of applause for him again. Thank you so much. While Somto Chukwu reads out the profile of Mr. Joel Omeke. Mr. Joel Omeke too, we are very grateful that for your busy schedule, attending to Africa's HR issues, you have our time. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Somto, please.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Thank you once again, Dr. David Isiawe. We are glad for the keynote address you gave us. Thank you for joining us. Mr. Joel Omeke, you're welcome. Thank you for joining us today. So who is Mr. Joel Omeke? Mr. Joel Omeke is the lead consultant and founder of P4PE Limited, an institute for professional excellence. He has astoundingly built competency in helping individuals and companies achieve their best potentials. Mr. Joel is a seasoned business strategist and people development, or you can say he's an HR practitioner with over 22 years deep-end experience covering generalists, specialists, and lead roles in the banking, insurance, engineering, telecoms, services, and consulting sectors. Mr. Joel led the Learning and Performance Group of Workforce Management Center, where the group head was the group head of HR and corporate services at ServTech Engineering. He also headed organization and employee development at Sterling Bank PLC, and he was the head of performance management in the United Bank PLC. Mr. Joel holds a dual BSc in Mathematics and Statistics from the University of Lagos and an MBA coursework from Business School, Netherlands. He's a project management practitioner, change management he's a change management specialist and a professional member of various national and international institutes and associations including SHRM, HRCI, PMI, NIM, ISM, LDNI, and HR Network Africa. He's currently pursuing a doctorate degree in business administration. Mr. Jewel is passionate about professional excellence in business growth, organizational development, and HR transformation. He has developed several best-in-class solutions, systems, and models in HR, finance, business transformation, learning, and development. Mr. Jewel develops profit models, business models, plans, and growth for integrated and complex businesses requiring deal structuring and various corporate combinations. Mr. Jewel currently serves on the board of Oxys Management School. It's an entrepreneurship management and leadership development institute. He is also currently serving at Bosworth Analytics. It's a business intelligence and analytics firm. He is also serving as CAC Microfinance Bank and also O Mobile Multimedia. It's a telecom multimedia company. Mr. Jewel runs several mentoring and coaching programs for professionals and business leaders. He has assisted business leaders in Nigeria, Namibia, Ghana, Ivory Coast, and South Africa to transform their careers and organizations. He is also a regular volunteer on capacity building initiatives for schools for Junior Achievers International and Teachers Development Initiative. Mr. Jewel Omeke has specific experiences in consulting, facilitation, project management. Mr. Jewel has expertise in large-scale project and change management, talent management, leadership alignment and development, stakeholder management and organization design and development, HR transformation, program and project management, HR strategy and service delivery, business startup, growth and profit modeling. He will be speaking to us for only 30 minutes. The first 25 minutes, he will go through his discourse and he will have about 5 minutes to take questions from the audience. So do well to note your questions because there will be limited time and he will probably take questions from only the first 3 hands to go up. So finally, ladies and gentlemen, join me to welcome Jewel Omeke to the ground. Thank you, Mr. Jewel. You're welcome.
Thank you so much for that.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you so much. That was very deep. It will take a while to go back to my record to know that these are the things being described. Thank you very much. Dr. David is here. Your session was intriguing. My notebook is full, right? In fact, I am a victim, and also I've noticed all the mistakes I've been making, and all the mistakes me and my people are also making. We need you to go around as an apostle across the entire country. There's a lot that we need to know in this particular area. And thank you, Ayo, for this particular platform. And thank the Convoy franchise for making this happen at this point in time. I wish this can go on a monthly basis until all of us are in compliance. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
My discourse at this point in time is on the HR manager as a business lead. I'm going to approach the conversation first around the things that have affected the HR space. And then I'll tie it into how HR can partner with the various internal departments to ensure we are in compliance with cybersecurity. And then I'll close my discourse with recommendation on key steps that HR leaders can take in order to contribute to ensuring that their organization and staff are in compliance with cybersecurity. It's an opportunity and honor to be here to discuss with you with the experience gathered over time. I've witnessed the remarkable transmission and transformation of the HR space and the role of HR. Try and picture this if you can. HR was once considered as the department of paperwork and policies. But today it has gone through radical makeover. We are not just HR managers, we are now business leaders. We influence critical decisions within the organization. Whether those decisions are growth decisions, they are decisions about maintaining where we are, or decisions around divesting. HR is in the middle of that conversation. The next few minutes, I want to shed some light on why HR managers are now indispensable. And when I say HR managers are indispensable, I am not referring to the individual HR manager within the organization. I'm referring to the HR manager that understands business acumen, that understands what business their organization is in, and is there sufficiently to support them in those areas. I believe other speakers will expatiate on business acumen when they do discuss down the line. Now, the landscape of HR has evolved. Let's rewind a little bit, right? HR used to be synonymous with personnel. In fact, a few organizations still call their HR unit personnel department, as the case may be. Then they are focused with files and payroll. We're custodian of data, but things have changed, and they've changed very fast at this point in time. Okay, some of the things that are driving this transformation: one is advancement in technology. Two, organizational priorities that are beginning to change. And thirdly, the globalization and diversity we're beginning to see around us. We are not just adapting as HR, we are now thriving. We are evolving along with this particular landscape. There are certain key competencies that HR managers must have for them to serve as business leaders. In order for you to lead very well, first you must have analytical skills. And when we say analytical skills, we're not talking about being able to do plus and minus, divide, percentage, and things like that. No, we're referring to you being able to look at data and find insight. What is the data talking about? What strategic decisions can the organization arrive at based on that particular data you find there? The second skill that we must have in order to lead business is strategic thinking. And strategic thinking means that HR's activities internally, HR goals must be in alignment with the big picture of the organization. It's as if we are playing chess with the workforce, all right? Making sure that the entire team you have within the organization are strategically positioned. So at the end of the day, we can checkmate, as the case may be, within that particular space. And you need to think strategically to achieve that. The third skill we need to focus on is change management. We must be change makers. We don't sit down again and wait for executive management to call us and say, look, these are the things happening. We need you to do this. Each time your management calls you and says, we need you to do this, then you're not a driver of change. At that particular point in time, you're responding and reacting to what has already changed within the organization at that point in time. But we need to be leading the organization in transformation across various areas of the organization's lifespan. Then the fourth skill is the skill around leadership and influence. We must inspire others to rise up to their leadership roles. We must lead. We must collaborate with various departments in order to make things happen. Gone are the days where HR is siloed. You're in your own cocoon, as the case may be. Today, we are integrated into the fabric of various organizations, and we must influence and lead to succeed at that point. The fifth skill, and the last one I mentioned in this area, is financial acumen. Sometimes financial acumen is not about the HR budget, total amount of money we spent on training, total payroll costs, total benefits costs, and things like that, because those are the things HR normally reports. We are referring to you understanding budgeting. understanding the financial position of the organization and the consequences of HR decisions on those particular positions. Today, we must be finance savvy, as the case is. Do you know our cash flow within the organization? Do you understand how the margins of the business in the organization? Do you understand the growth trajectory of the organization? By what percentage are we growing? Which areas of the business is expanding and growing, as the case may be? What is our velocity of growth within the organization? What kind of customers are we targeting? And which of these customers are premium and are delivering more for us in this area? If you have answers to these 5 things I've mentioned, most probably you have financial acumen to be able to support the business to move forward very well in those areas. There are other case studies. There are some case studies that support these things I'm saying, that HR needs to pay attention. Let me tell you the story of Jane. So Jane is a HR manager that has become a business leader. And she used predictive analytics, which is a field of data analytics, in order to reduce the turnover in her organization by 20%. And that saved them hundreds of millions of naira within 6 months, within that particular organization, since she took over that particular role. There's also Mark in another organization who spearheaded a cultural transformation in the organization. And it helped them to bring innovativeness and to boost profit also at that point. Does it mean that these 2 individuals had no challenges? No, there's always challenge, no matter what you do at that point in time. But your determination and the competencies we mentioned earlier that you bring to the table is going to help you to drive these things and succeed in those particular areas. There are a few tools HR managers need in order to succeed. Some of these tools include HR software, analytics platform, your learning management system, as the case is, and also the power of continuous learning. All right, because things are changing. You need to unlearn some of the things you know, relearn some that you have forgotten already, and then be open to new learning at this point in time. And you must overcome those particular challenges, whether those challenges are capacity issues, strategic leadership issues, or data-related issues, because these are the 3 areas that HR is always afraid of. HR is not very strong in within the organization. Then embrace change, be resilient, and remember that each challenge would always be a stepping stone. There's no challenge that will say this is the last challenge. Interestingly, this challenge that you're facing is smaller than the next challenge that is going to come. You either face it, deal with it, and drive your organization forward, or your organization tomorrow will find another HR leader who will continue to lead and help them achieve results in that area. What's the future of HR leadership? For one thing, one feature of HR that we've noticed is AI. When Ayo was speaking, he did mention that HR is one department that AI will touch, but will not touch so much in the short term. Interestingly, there are 5 units in HR that AI today has taken over 100%, but here in Nigeria, we're still condoning those people. One is payroll. You actually do not need a payroll officer. AI is 100% in control. 2 is training officer or training manager. You do not need a training manager in your organization. AI handles training end to end, as the case may be. 3 is your performance management person. AI is in charge of performance management and knows when to check in, when to question, when to query, when to check the performance evaluations and what is going on within the organization at that point in time. 4 is recruitment. Your recruitment system, AI today, scans through LinkedIn and identifies the right candidate and is able to profile, ask the right questions, and invite the person for a final interview within the organization. So the recruitment person is an endangered species, as the case may be within the organization. Then finally is your employee relations officer. All those policy-related things, AI is 100% on top of policy issues, and they can deal with it. So imagine what the future of HR looks like if I remove these 5 units away and give it to AI, because there are AIs with CV that can do this job within your organization, as the case may be. Then there are also emerging fields of diversity and inclusion that HR needs to wake up to and begin to rise and deal with things in those particular areas. And other trends that we find in this area. So these are examples of the future of HR that are beginning to emerge. Now, how can HR engage the various internal departments in order to ensure that we support cybersecurity within the organization? One thing HR should do is to strengthen what I refer to as a human firewall. And this is borrowed from the conversations that Dr. David had with us a while ago. The human firewall is an extension of the traditional boundaries of HR. HR managers are now pivotal in strengthening this firewall because people, your staff, both HR and the staff you have in your organization, are the first line of defense against cyber attacks or cyber threats within your organization. It is not just about the IT professionals. Every employee plays a critical role in cybersecurity. HR must champion cybersecurity awareness within the organization by means of training programs to ensure that the entire workforce is well equipped and they recognize and are able to respond to threats when they see it. They also need to foster a culture of cybersecurity within the organization. We need to contribute significantly to protecting sensitive data and preserving the company's reputation in various areas. The second way we can partner with the internal department is to ensure that talent acquisition and cybersecurity skills are in place in the organization. Check your internal IT and your control and cybersecurity department. Are you staffed with sufficient individuals with the right skills, with the right qualifications, with the right certifications to support your organization? This is an area HR needs to play a very good role in, helping identifying and acquiring the right talent in cybersecurity for the organization, and then building a cybersecurity ready team that can respond, that can act, that can protect, that are proactive in ensuring that we do not have hackers deal with us unnecessarily. This includes cybersecurity analysts, ethical hackers, and data protection specialists that you must get within your organization. And then we need to collaborate with the IT department in order to define the job roles, the skills, and the certifications required for cybersecurity positions, so we can ensure that we are able to attract the right candidates within the organization. Now, other partnering areas we need to focus on is on data privacy and compliance, especially within the HR department. The HR department is a custodian of vast amount of data, employees' data. We must ensure data privacy. We must ensure compliance with the regulations because it's a paramount responsibility of ours. And then we also need to stay up to date with the evolving data protection laws, both internationally like the GDPR, the CCPA, and locally within our environment, like the NDPR and the latest ones that Dr. has spoken about earlier. We must collaborate with the IT department, the legal department, to establish internal robust data protection policies and practices within the organization. It is better to be overprotected than to be sorry down the line, as the case may be. So if we align our practices with these cybersecurity compliance things, we will not only avoid legal pitfalls, we will also demonstrate our commitment to safeguarding employees, to safeguarding customer information within the organization as much as possible. Now, here are five things I think HR should contribute that you can go back at the end of this session and begin to implement immediately. 5 action steps that you can implement immediately in your own organization to ensure you support them. One is to promote cybersecurity awareness training. Just like in various sectors, there are sectors that run annually. They run health and safety training within their organization to ensure that all of us are in compliance with issues of health and safety. Also, some other organizations annually, especially in the finance industry or financial industry, they run annual trainings on anti-money laundering. It is time for HR annually to run programs around cybersecurity awareness for all staff, because there are always emerging new things, new trends, and new attacks and new styles those people are using. So we need to implement regular awareness program in this particular area for all employees, ensure that staffs understand the latest in terms of threats, best practices, and their own role in protecting the company's data. We also need to encourage the development of a cybersecurity conscious culture within the organization at that point and prioritize security in various areas. That's the first thing we should implement. The second thing we should consider implementing is a cybersecurity skills assessment program when you are recruiting any staff into the organization. Collaborate with the IT department and other security teams within your organization to identify the specific skills at the minimum that all staff working in our organization must have. What is the minimum certifications or certificates that we must acquire? We must work hand in hand with them in order to identify these for every role in the organization. During our recruitment process, evaluate the candidates not only on technical skills, but also on their commitment to cybersecurity, best practices, and also on ethical behavior. This will help us a lot to avoid issues down the line. The third thing you can implement immediately is to enhance data protection policies. Look at your staff policy. Is there any part of your policy that talks about data protection? For some of the organizations we've seen, what we normally see is non-disclosure. All right, that you should not disclose what you hear, what you know about the organization outside and things like that. But there's more. We need to expand on that policy to include much more. We need to again work with the IT department and especially the legal department to develop and update a comprehensive data protection policy and procedures for our organization. We must ensure that these policies cover data classification, data access control, encryption, incident response, and then compliance with the relevant data protection agencies and regulations that we have around us. The third thing you should focus on as HR, the fourth one, is to look at your incident response planning and training. If you have an attack today, what is your response? Is there a documented response plan in your organization? If the MD says that somebody has hacked his phone, how do you respond? Some organizations, they say, hey, yeah, sorry, you call MTN or call Etisalat or call Airtel, let them block your line. Does it stop there? So we need to develop a robust incident response plan in collaboration with the IT department and the security team. This plan should outline the procedures for identifying, for mitigating, for recovering from incidents, from cyber security incidents within the organization. We also need to conduct regular tabletop exercises. Just like we have fire drills in our organization, we should also look at ethical hacking to ensure that we are drilling our organization properly, to ensure that both HR staff and the employees are prepared to respond to any of these particular issues. Number 5, this is where the problem is not yours, but you might have put all this system in place internally in your organization, but you're working hand in hand with consultants, contractors, other suppliers, what we generally refer to as vendors. What is their level of security compliance and cybersecurity compliance? It is important before you sign on any of those vendors that you should profile and assess whether they meet the minimum standard of security systems and compliance that you expect to see. Again, collaborate with your procurement department and of course the IT teams and security in order to implement a vendor security assessment, all right, process for your organization. This will help you to look at the practices of your third-party vendors and contractors to ensure that they meet the organization's standards before they begin to act as suppliers with you at that point in time. Establish some kind of criteria for evaluating them, right? These practices, and consider security as a key factor amongst other things when you're engaging them. So in summary of what I've said, right? HR is now a very respected platform and profession in which we are now leading the business. There is need for us to understand the business very well, to support the business in its growth expectations or divestment as the case may be, and support it with various skills, influence, and leadership as much as possible. We also need to partner with the internal units, including IT, including controls, including finance, and the other units to ensure that we are prepared and we are helping the organization to deal with cybersecurity issues. And then we listed 5 different areas that you can implement immediately. in order to achieve success in this area. I think if you do this, all right, your organization will stand the test of time within this particular period and survive whatever attack that comes away down the line. Ayo and the team, thank you very much for the opportunity to have spoken with us. I'll leave the rest minutes for Q&As down the line.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. We are very grateful. My notebook is already full, but I'll let the others that have questions to please come up. Questions. I know somebody was asking about your slides, if you are going to share with us later.
Okay, I will share everything I've spoken about. I'm going to put it together and send it across to you.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So any other questions? Just raise your hand if you have, or you can go ahead and ask your questions if you have.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Omeke. That session was quite inspiring. My question would be this: there are organizations that have vendors that are not will I say, I don't want to use the word viable. I mean, they can supply whatever material it is, but most of them are startups, and most of them, do not have.
Hello, Ruben, we are losing you.
Okay, how will you mitigate? How will you handle such vendors?
Sorry, Ruben, we lost you for like 3 seconds. We lost you at most of them do not have.
Okay, what it takes, I remember there was a case in hand where we serve as a vendor to a big multinational company, and there were so many things they needed us to provide to qualify. Do you understand? Like a pre-qualification. And apparently we did not have those kind of things. So I hear you when you are saying, so how do you suggest that? Obviously we can deploy on those services, but so how will you, on the side of this multinational company that is trying to, safeguard their, their data protection as where vendors are concerned, what would be your suggestion for the organization? I hope that is clear.
Yes, very clear. Thank you, Ruben. Thank you very much. And absolutely. In my experience, there are 2 things I've seen in the field where a vendor is unable to meet certain requirements for pre-qualification. One, sometimes the organization itself supports the vendors. Upfront, for anything you're asking for, you have sample templates, you have sample documents like that you expect them to put in place. An example is your HSE policy, your data protection policy and things like that. You expect them to send in something like that, but they don't have. But you have a minimum requirement you expect them to have within the organization. So you provide those templates to them and give the organization some time to go and implement and get that done. And then they can come again and reapply as vendors within the organization. That's one example I've seen in various areas. 2, there are institutions that help those small businesses and mid-sized businesses to prepare themselves to be able to engage such multinationals or big organizations like that. And I know Coinbox does that also, where they can engage you and help you to build your institution, get the right documentations, and ensure that you're in compliance before you begin to apply and bid for some of those particular jobs in those areas. The truth is that this organization will not lower their standards in order to accommodate, let's say, local content, as the case may be. Yeah, but we also need to grow ourselves. This program we are running now is an example of such an awareness. The video clip on YouTube that Coinbox played when we started this session is an example of the fact that a lot of SMEs are not aware of some of these particular things. So if the organization is interested in supporting those SMEs, they can provide a window for awareness and give them access to resources that can support them in those particular. Those 2 things, I believe, will help to address this as much as possible.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other questions? I have a question. My own is in the area of the HR managers themselves. Okay. How can we help them? Because for me, it's help or encourage them, because so many of them have that nonchalant attitude. In fact, when I brought up this, some people reached out and said, Ayo, what do you think you are doing? Why are you doing this? Why do you want to open a nyash outside? Don't you understand we are very okay that, you know, just let us recruit people and train them and life is easy. AI or whatever you are calling it cannot catch up now. It will first catch up with management before it gets to us. As in, I was shocked when I heard some of them saying that. And they'll tell you, even management sees it like that. So why should they bother?
Thank you very much. It's actually not just HR department, as the case may be, our HR team members. I think it has to do with some personalities. And unfortunately, we find them a lot within the HR admin space, so to speak. If I contextualize it to 3 words, there is no inspiration, there is no ambition, there is no grit, right? No passion, as the case is at that point in time. And this kind of behavior sometimes lead them to be nonchalant and not on the same page with the executives and the business drivers. So I always recommend that if you inherit HR personnel who look like this, who act like this at this point in time, then you need to spend some investment in them internally first to bring them up to speed why they need to contribute to the big picture of the organization. Secondly, you need to bring them amongst peers in the industry, in the HR space, who are actively driving and leading their enterprise. There are HR professionals who are doing very well. And then finally, if you notice that there's a skill gap, you can recommend some training for them. If you've done these 3 and the person is still not able to rise to the occasion, then perhaps you have a wrong investment. You may consider divesting. And this is me being very blunt and straightforward about how to deal with this particular issue within the organization. Some of our HR people are still in the old school HR. All right, they see themselves much more in the policy and compliance part, and not necessarily in the business leadership transformation part and change leadership that they should be in at this point in time. So if you try that area and it doesn't work, then perhaps you need to find another HR manager who can support your business growth at that point in time.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Any other questions, comments? Questions, comments? My notebook is full from all the information. I think I might be asking for extra sheets, as they say in the exam, by the time all our speakers finish. But thank you so much. Can I permission to say Dr. Joel? Dr. Joel has said that HR has moved from the days of HR just dealing with paperwork and policies to now being indispensable. And for them to be indispensable, that means they must have developed analytical skills. The manager must have developed strategic thinking skills. That is, he should be a chess player in the office. And his chessboard is, his chessboard is the workforce itself. Then he must be an expert in change management. In fact, he should be the one leading the organization in transformation. The HR manager should also be there for leadership and influence. He should be an influencer in the organization. He should be an authority. When he speaks, the organization should listen. The HR manager should have financial acumen. He should know the basic financial terms and what they are used for and how they influence and affect the management, like their cash flow statements, their profitability, their balance sheets, and so many other things, and how the staffing also affects this in an organization. Then what are those tools that the HR manager needs? He said you need continuous learning. You must you also talk about the fact of AI. That is the AI has come and taken over the HR job already. We are talking about it in future, but that is here, especially in key areas like payroll, training, performance management, recruitment, employee relations. Is already here. those jobs are already being done by HR. What is the HR manager doing? They need to skill up and scale up. Then, how can the HR management engage the organization in ensuring that, you know, the future of the organization is sure? Number one, it should build a human firewall. It should foster a culture of cybersecurity. It should look into talent acquisition and cybersecurity skills and ensure they're in place in the organization. It should build a cybersecurity ready team and ensure that the data privacy and compliance rules are in place in the organization. And then it should promote cybersecurity awareness. It should ensure that we go beyond the non-disclosure rules, which is what we are all used for. Just once you employ staff, just give them non-disclosure. We should go beyond that. It should also ensure that proper data classification is in place, proper data encryption is in place, and of course, proper data protection is in place. Then, how does it manage its incident response? Is there a, you know, normally in organizations, there is fire drill. Do we have a cybersecurity drill? If we don't have, we need to start looking for how to put it in place. And regular cybersecurity drills and exercises. That is, what do they call it again? Disaster recovery systems should be in place. And then, what is the HR manager doing about our third-party contractors and our third-party vendors? We need to start looking for how to encourage and support them to be security conscious in the cyber space. We need to look for how to support and encourage them to be security conscious in the cyber space. With this, in this little summary of mine, I've covered most of what I hope I have covered most of what Dr. Joel has been able to deliver to us today. The time is short because I'm sure there's so much, but this is just the introduction of the series. So, Dr. Joel, please, a round of applause for him again, and thank you so much. We really appreciate. We thank you. Oh, David Alozie has a question, or his hand is raised. So please, David, go ahead.
No question. Sorry, it was just I went to clap.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. We really appreciate. We hope to have you again for one of our series as it comes up. We are booking down now. Thank you so much. So we are going to have one more speaker. I think that's David that has just spoken. Alozie. So before he comes on, Somto Chukwu Ojobo will read out his profile and then a round of applause. So please, let's welcome David. Somto, over to you.
Thank you once again, Mr. Adira, for that. I enjoyed this session and I learned a lot from it as well. So our next speaker is David Alozie. So who is David Alozie? David Alozie is a seasoned digital economist, an entrepreneur and programmer with experience in AI, IoT, fintech, telecom, cloud, cybersecurity, and blockchain technologies. He's the founder of Disruptive Africa, one of the pioneering educational initiatives since 2015 that has enlightened thousands of Africans in areas such as blockchain, IoT, AI, and robotics. He worked in the telecom industry and played key roles in bringing Uber and AMD to Nigeria. David is the founder and Chief Innovation Officer of Disruptive Innovation Lab and Wiretooth Technologies Limited, which has 7 promising early-stage startups under his portfolio. David's startups provide solutions in areas such as AI for small businesses and call centers, digital identity, fintech, financial inclusion, connected cars, telecoms, telecom CAAP, telecom CAAS, and smart feature phones. He has executed projects in collaboration with reputable global brands like Intel Corporation, Ubuntu, Uber, and Etisalat as part of Disruptive Africa programs. David has also received awards, partnerships, and support from government ministers and agencies in Nigeria, including the Federal Ministry of Communication Technology, Lagos State Ministry of Science and Technology, National Information Technology Development, and Lagos State Employment Trust Fund. He also led teams that supported organizations like AMD, Uber, and DCK Computers with respect to the Nigerian market and has carried out several market research surveys on various ICT products in Nigeria. Recently, David was selected as one of Africa's bright young leaders and attended a Global Scholars Program on digital strategy and platform for business at the prestigious Center for Global Enterprise in New York. He is also organizing the Disruptive Africa Conference, one of the biggest disruptive technology conferences in Africa, focused on IoT, big data, web RTC, and robotics, and also a popular innovation masterclass in Lagos. Called Augmented Lagos. David founded a new digital financial inclusion startup called Finaclusion, which has gained recognition from the Central Bank of Kenya, Monetary Authority of Singapore, and KPMG. In a bid to contribute to the actualization of Sustainable Development Goals, he set up the Disruptive Africa Cloud Innovation Platform to help people and businesses crowdsource ideas or feedback on new or existing products. This helps validate new or existing business ideas or products with prospective or existing customers. David is committed to national development through ICT empowerment training in several states of Nigeria. He has also organized ICT empowerment training programs under the Ministry of Economic Empowerment in some Nigerian states and other organizations. Being the first and only African speaker at the just concluded WebRTC conference in Atlanta, his focus is to spearhead activities like coordinating research analysis related to Africa, aiming to increase and propagate the use of M2M, IoT, and WebRTC technology in Africa for the purpose of development and to make life easier for people. David Alozie studied electronic engineering at the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, and also possesses experience in the telecommunication industry with previous working experience at Etisalat, Nigeria. Having run Africa-focused technology for development programs, David Alozie has identified significant untapped business opportunities in Nigeria/Africa in the areas of technologies of the fourth industrial revolution and hopes to support in harnessing skills and resources among African youth for them to seize these opportunities. David Alozie offers technology consultancy and training to individuals and organizations. He is also a guest facilitator at Lagos Business School on big data and business analytics. He's a digital economy analyst with Channels TV. David Alozie will be speaking to us day for only 30 minutes. The first 25 minutes, he'll go through his discourse, and he will have about 5 minutes to take questions from the audience. So do well to take down your notes. Do well to take down your questions, because there will be limited time, and he will probably take questions from only the first 2 hands to go up. So finally, ladies and gentlemen, join me to welcome David Alozie.
Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. For those in Nigeria, I believe some people are joining from other part of the world. It's a privilege to be here. Thank you to the organizers and IO and Coinbox. Also, thank you to the early speaker, Dr. David, Mr. Joel, Mickey. It's been very enlightening at this program here. Okay. I think I might want to. I didn't know that profile was quite long. I didn't know maybe it was a reader or it was just long. Probably I need to update it. I prefer something very brief and all that. Okay. Without wasting much time, there's a lot to talk about. We try to. This normally will be like a full masterclass that will take some hours, but I'll try to briefing it into a few minutes for us to understand what's going on. Okay. So the impact of generative AI on the global economy. So for this particular perspective, I'll also be talking about AI and the business part of it. And so let's start. Okay. So a little bit about me, you've heard a lot about that. Okay, so we'll be talking a bit about AI, generative AI. Then generative AI, then the urgency and opportunity, why we're talking about this, the dangers and biases of AI, the case studies, success stories, then the future outlook, what you need to do as a company, as HR personnel, and as a career person. So there's a lot to talk about, but I need to go very fast. All right, so we've been hearing the word, we know what they call AI. AI is where a computer is programmed to carry out some actions which a human being would normally, take. So AI has been here for so many years, right? So it's people have used it for several things, like you register on some app, especially banking app. They try to say, okay, do a liveliness test where the app has to take your picture and be sure that you're smiling or you're moving your head or your face. That's one use of AI. Also, like on YouTube and also Facebook, they all use AI, to know what kind of videos to, present to you. And also same thing with TikTok. TikTok became a sensation where you don't have to put in so much settings. Once you register, watch few videos, it's already doing a lot of things. So there are different kinds of conventional AIs, right? So, but we now have what we call generative AI, which is what we're going to dwell on, which is where the world is focused on now. AI has gone beyond being conventional. It's now the generative AI. And then the question will now be, what is generative AI? Generative AI is an AI that leverages some models to generate new content, and it's kind of way more smarter than a conventional AI that where you try to. A very good example is ChatGPT, where you tell ChatGPT, please, could you help me come up with a business plan on how to set up a business? And you see ChatGPT is of type writing, and giving you like a full business plan. And same thing, the generative AI, which you just put in text and ask, please generate a video for me about a particular topic. And in a few seconds, it's already doing that. So that's what they call generative AI. It's generating content out of it. And with this whole generative AI is shaking the industry. And it became very strong from last year, November, right? And I'm going to go over the impact and how it affects you as a business, how it affects you as a HR practitioner, and how it affects a company. So so here are the application of generative AI. Like I mentioned, content creation, data augmentation is used in gaming simulation. For example, I could use generative AI to create 2 characters, right? And I could say, okay, you speak like Elon Musk and you speak like Abraham Lincoln and start having conversations, you notice that the AI will keep on, they will start talking, and the topic of conversation will be contextualized around those characters that were mentioned there. Another application of generative AI is where they're using to, when you're trying to create drugs, so many drugs don't just are not just used immediately. They have to go to several testing or physical testing and all that. So you have to put it from, sometimes they try it on lab rats before they take it to monkeys, and before they say, okay, let's take it to human beings. But with AI is able to simulate a lot of environment. Like they have the AI that can simulate the human body, simulate protein, the body's molecular designs, generate protein. So with those kind of AI, it's able to predict how some drugs or some compound will behave in the body without you having to wait for several years. And then natural language, of course, natural language processing. Of course, generative AI is able to even understand the theme of some text. For example, with generative AI, I can put a whole textbook into generative AI to summarize it, or I can start asking the AI questions about the textbook, and it should do it. So, and the AI can, a textbook that will take some people like months to read, AI will congest that in, depending on the power of the infrastructure, it could ingest, they call it ingestion. It could ingest that in say 1 minute, and it has every knowledge that's needed. So those are the some of the applications of generative AI. I will still go deeper into the applications. It's just an overview because I'm trying to ensure that we're not too technical, trying to make that as easy as possible. Okay, so now we're getting to the sweet part. So the question is generative AI. That's what we've been hearing. Unlike Mr. Joel, he mentioned some applications of how AI is really going to is influencing HR already. And thank you for raising that up. It kind of makes the work easier for me. And AI is actually, I'm really very thrilled that someone here already knows about those applications of AI. And unfortunately, out here in Nigeria and Africa, a lot of people are not really aware, and they're not doing anything about it. And like Ayo mentioned, some people are a bit complacent. They just want to do things the old way. Newsflash, they might be out of jobs if they're not careful, because some other company could leverage AI and beat their company. The company will lose cash flow and they'll be out of job. And that is why, nobody is relaxed. Even this big Google is not even relaxed. And I will tell you a little background on what happened recently, which is causing the whole, shaking all across the world. So, first of all, why is urgent to understand generative AI? Because there are a lot of security threats with the advent of generative AI. I will dedicate a slide to it so that you could understand, because with generative AI, cybersecurity becomes even harder now, I'm telling you, and I will tell you why. But on this slide, I want to focus more on the business opportunities and national opportunities. So this generative AI started back in November 30th last year. A company called OpenAI, right? They launched a product called ChatGPT. And ChatGPT was able to garner millions of users within a few days. Like it broke a record in the history of digital platforms across the world. They were able to gather millions of users within a few days of launching. And it became a sensation. What has now happened is that the question is this: why is ChatGPT, shaking the world? Is it that AI is kind of something new, that generative AI? But the answer is ChatGPT is not the first of its kind, but ChatGPT was applied in a way that the common man and everybody could access it. Before now, AI was not fully accessible to the common man, everybody. It's only companies with very good funding and that is visionary that could really leverage AI in what they're doing. Like banks are using AI for fraud detection, banks using AI to do for identity verification, and also the time I taught in Lagos Business School about data analytics, when they were using AI to fight terrorism. In fact, it was believed that AI was used to track Osama bin Laden and know his spots before he was captured. And it was also believed that Trump used AI to, enhance his campaign for presidency then, which made him win. So AI has just been there, just that it was not available to the common man. And what OpenAI did, which was very smart, was they took AI models, because the beauty is not the thing you're seeing there is not ChatGPT as a product, it's the model that is the gold there. So they took the AI model called GPT 3.5, and they now created an interface that allows anybody in the world to go and chat with it and get response free of charge. And that grew like wildfire. Where you just ask you the question, and it's just going to change give you the answer straight without wasting your time. It started bringing lots of fears. People and those in the academy became scared that students are going to use it to cheat in the exams. Some people started becoming threatened by their jobs. Those people that say that they write proposals or business plan or compose stuff, became tough for them. Now people in the office now use these things to compose emails, letters, and all those things. And of course, Microsoft has already sunk in about $10 billion, for their AI works and research, and they invested in OpenAI, and which is why you can see the way Microsoft have imbibed AI. If you look at Bing search, they've put it in there. They put AI into Office 365 and all that. And for the first time, Google became very threatened. And what happened? Google became scared that these guys could knock us out. There's how big you become as a brand, that your aim is not just about money. Your aim is dominance. When you remain dominant and relevant, you can make money through several means. So Google needed to remain relevant, and of course, Google has to hastily launch their AI platform called BARD, and I think when they were testing it, there were a lot of errors, and because of that, they lost over $1 billion in their valuation. And today it's called the costliest tech demo in the whole world. So when they were demoing their BARD, they already did that a few months after December. That was actually around March or April, and it gave very bad errors, and they lost some money in there. So then we also have that AI has also made some startups very non-useful. The first casualty that a generative AI claimed was earlier this year. A startup called Check in the overseas that helps students with their assignments and all that. And the CEO was talking about, was doing like, I think one of their AGMs sort of kind of meeting, and he was talking about what they're doing. And I believe he didn't clearly project how they were going to leverage AI to catch up with what ChatGPT is already doing. And what happened is that because of that little oversight, within one day, the company crashed because investors started pulling their money and the valuation just crashed. So that tells you what's happening. And because of that, every global company now is integrating generative AI into their products and services, because nobody wants to be left out. So for a kind of move that kind of puts Google on their toe to be under pressure, you should know that it's something very big. And because of that, lots of investors all over the world have been investing on AI startups now. The search for AI startup is very hot. And if you're going to invest, say, for example, say $1 million on a normal startup, for an AI startup, they're going to invest like ×3 of that, because AI requires bigger server infrastructures and all that. So there's a saying that says that it is not AI that's going to disrupt you. It is people who use AI that's going to disrupt you. So as a person, what is happening? So and I'm going to give you a little pointer about the future, which you might not hear anywhere. It's based on research and work. There was an argument we were having some months back in the early stage. We were asking between Google and Microsoft who will win the AI game, and then I was saying, hey, Microsoft was going to win it. And my argument was this: people are scared of AI, not just about still taking away their job, but data privacy. So people will feel Microsoft has a business enterprise plan. Microsoft has a business structure that is imbibed into several businesses. If you go to some global organizations, they use Microsoft Office and the rest of them. So it's easier for those big organizations to feel free to use AI product from Microsoft than to use Google, because there are still already concerns around privacy around Google and for adverts, and the rest of them. So that was the argument. But then that was my argument then. But then after some months, I discovered I was wrong. And why? Because of the landscape is still shaping. It's still in the virgin stage. And a lot of things are still going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen in the next 6 months around the AI industry. And the fact is just this: some people might wake up and discover that they lost their job because they didn't keep up to date. So I'll be talking about some things you also need to do to stay relevant. Okay, so So for the business opportunity, a business needs to start thinking about how they want to, imbibe AI into their product. Because as a business, if you don't, any business who does is going to knock you out. As a HR practitioner, if you don't leverage AI, you'll be knocked out. Yes, for example, Mr. Joel mentioned about those applications, but the HR that companies will hire is a HR person who knows how to use those tools. So instead of hiring 10 HR professionals, they rather hire 2 professionals who understand how to use AI. Because there are recently countries all over, some companies across the world are talking about how they are cutting down costs by using AI. They are laying off some staffs and they are leveraging generative AI to do what needs to do. And before now, AI was not so disruptive until recently, last year, when OpenAI showed us what generative AI could do. So it could think like a human being and a whole lot of other things. Then as a nation, you look see how Dubai is pushing to use AI. And what does it do? A resource that would take to achieve, maybe say, a global GDP, make the great GDP to maybe $1 trillion. With AI, that same resource can be used to achieve a GDP of $5 billion. And that's because it helps accelerate processes. It helps drop bottlenecks of having to go through some processes and wait. Like I gave you the example where they apply AI for drugs testing and all that. So those are this is the reason why this is happening. So there's a serious shaking. Everybody's under tension. Nobody wants to left out. Investors are looking for AI startups to invest in because they might be the big thing. No company wants to be knocked out. It's just here in Africa, Nigeria, people are still joking. Just like the fourth industrial revolution and a lot of things, AI has really it might really shake everybody if Africa does not take a stand and start thinking around it. So AI could be good for business, labor productivity, like I mentioned, for the HR personnel. And companies are not here to feed your family. They're not here to feed anybody's family. They're not there for charity. They're there to make simply profits. And the fact is that whatever will give them profit is what they're going to do. However, in some countries, some governments, some people are already, protesting that they can't use AI and knock them out. But really, the investors for the company are not here to joke. They are just here to grow their money. So if you will be a staff who's going to be lazy, or maybe a staff who's going to be making too much demand, or you want to go on leave, you ask for salary increase, you do union protest and all that, and this business owner can just use AI, and the AI will work for 24 hours forever and ever without asking for salary increase. Who do you think the guy is going to use? So that does not mean that jobs will be completely lost. Those who will lose their jobs are those who are not really updated, especially even in the HR sector. So also, generative AI could be used to provide a unique and personalized customer experience where, you have customer service, where you have to talk to customers. Some of them could be rude, some of them could be not even. I've seen a customer service, like I visited a bank some days ago, and the customer, they don't want to mention the bank, they didn't know that they have a machine outside where you want to use to get a card. In that same bank, he was already telling customers that they should fill a form to get their ATM card and come back the next 7 days. And I was there, with my wife, and somebody just reminded me, yes, they have this machine, and I just stepped out, and within 5 minutes, I had ATM card, and we left. So there's a lot of, as companies keep on growing and having more products added to it, some of those staff might be it might be a bit laid back in trying to get updated with the product. But with AI, you can make AI a machine to ingest all your company products, and it can dish it out to customers judiciously with high level of accuracy. So, and it will even cost you less, compared to a human being. And then AI is already creating new businesses all around. Like now we have things around ethic, very soon we have things around the ethical law for AI. We have people with the new field they called prompt engineers, and several other things, and the AI could also accelerate research and development for generative designs. Okay, so I've given some case studies about AI. Then also now AI can even write programming code. And in the next 1 to 2 years, really, some software programmers might lose out because there are AIs that you could, to some extent, you can speak to an AI to write programming code for you and write a complete application for you. And presently works are on the way to put together an AI that can, accurately come up with at least a basic software application. Presently, people are using AI to generate websites, so I don't have to go and give a web developer to do a WordPress site for me and waiting for him. No, just by giving some text prompts, say I run maybe a consultancy business where I provide HR service for people in Nigeria, blah, blah, blah. And before you know it, the AI will just generate a complete website content and generate pictures and generate the codes for you. And what is left is for a business to be able to arrange a server so that after the AI generates it, it goes straight to a server and you have your website. However, some people are already doing that. There are AI that even help you come up with a PowerPoint for whatever topic you're looking for. So the application of generative AI, they are limitless as far as you can think. And there are still opportunities there waiting to be unlocked by people who are innovative and know how to apply this AI in a particular field, just like I mentioned how it's applied in the HR field. So now, this is an overview of what happened in the past few months. Although this is not so updated, this is, I think, this is as of a few months ago. Now, this shows you the area that is a focus for AI, where the money has been going to for AI. It just gives you a pointer about where the application is. If you see out of this whole investment, this is like a chart showing where investors are investing. You know, investors don't just invest anywhere; they do research to know what is really strong. Right, if you see the biggest share of investment goes to social media and marketing content. Marketing brands are huge. Marketing brands are part of the people that have huge. You see, like a brand where like for example in Nigeria, millions of dollars, you know, for marketing campaigns, even abroad, huge money. So, and most of them, they have to create a lot of content around videos, pictures, and all that. Right now, there are AIs that can help you generate video. Even a training can generate video trainings for you, like it will come up with a virtual human being that you will give all the whole training materials, and the AI will carry out the training and even interact with the class, the students. This AI available, and for me, I'm not speaking theoretically about what I've seen somewhere. Some things I've implemented because even before ChatGPT became popular, already building AI for one of the top 3 Korea companies in the world, right? So. And when ChatGPT came and all that, you know, it's something that we, you know, aligned with us, and we are also trying to launch a product for businesses around AI. So for here, marketing, media, they took the chunk. Then if you see the second biggest focus of AI is okay, this is for generative interfaces. So this is the biggest chunk for the visual media, right? On the right hand side, you have those for generative interfaces, more like maybe like ChatGPT, where you type text and get something. So your human machine interfaces, you know, where you could type in 1 or 2 things and get some values from there. And then also then they also spoke about code completion. You know, I told you that AI cannot generate programming code and application from beginning to the end. There's productivity, and there's also audio editing. AI can even generate music for you now. You tell me the genre of music that you want to generate. So that's even going to even disrupt even music producers on one end. So the fact is that the fact is that there are many things that AI will do in the next 6 months. We are not sure what's going to happen as far as AI is concerned. But the world is just waiting for one crazy person who is just going to use this model and come up with a business and, you know, shake things up. So let me come back to the visual media. You know, we have a summarization. For example, one of the AI we built for a company is that for their customer conversation, instead of the agent having to read through the whole conversation or listen to the whole audio call, our AI is able to summarize a 2 minutes or 5 minutes call into 3-4 sentences. So you to understand what's going on in that call without having to stress yourself to listen to this. So those are the ways we are already, you know, applying AI. And basically, what we are doing for the company is, let me just help you. Okay, let me just go through and I'll tell you the use case we are using, just to help you understand how you could how it's going. So let me go to the next slide. Okay, so this just gives you an overview of application of AI. So I think I would dwell a bit on this just to give you to understand the concept generally. So like I mentioned to you, ChatGPT is just a product or an interface or a public facing interface, you know, but the main thing is the model. So on my left hand side, you see what I have here, AI foundational models of global knowledge. Example of this is the GPT 3.5 model. They now have the GPT-4 model, which is very more intelligent than GPT. That is the one that is run by ChatGPT. For you to access the GPT-4 model on ChatGPT, I think you have to pay compulsory. It's not free. So AI foundational model of global knowledge. That AI model, you can ask almost any questions in the world. So then the second one, which is where I believe the money is the AI foundational models of enterprise knowledge. And I'll give you an example. For one of the global companies that we consult for, they were thrilled by ChatGPT, and they said, you know what, we love ChatGPT, but we don't want our company information to be on ChatGPT. Because presently, a lot of people are already suing and saying that ChatGPT leverage open knowledge or people's work and used to create a model, and they are making money out of it. And questions have said popping up about based on the output of an AI model, who should get royalty for it? Or I use an AI model to create a picture and I'm using it for media work and all that. Who should credit given to? Because, of course, when for any AI model, okay, sorry. For any AI model, you have to do training for it, right? You have to train it. You train it on, for example, images. Train it on some words, and based on people's knowledge. You leverage that to, create the AI model, and then the AI can now start solving problems. So there's a question about who owns the legal right around those things. So, so those are a lot of things. That's where the legal parts come about. They play for ethics, compliance, and safety. So, I need to rush through because time is far spent. That the nature of AI, now I mentioned that it becomes a cybersecurity threat. For deepfakes, I can decide to get IOS pictures and IOS voice, and I now use the IOS pictures and IOS voice to impersonate him. You see somebody talking like Ayo with his face and his voice, And if I want to even be more bad, I could. If Ayo had lots of videos online, videos where he spoke, I would just gather those videos and ingest them into an AI model, and the AI would talk like Ayo and think like Ayo. So a lot is about happening. So around data privacy, cybersecurity, there's going to be a whole lot of things that are going to happen. So so there are a lot of dangers around AI. So it makes it very tough. So for those who are cybersecurity experts, there's more work to be done. For companies, there's more work to be done for security because AI has really, made some things tougher to do. So in rounding off, I would like to tell you two things, what you need to do as an organization. So there are two sides of it. AI as for career, for your HR career journey, and personally, I would advise you attend AI trainings to gain knowledge, understand what it is. Then there's a new job role called prompt engineering. Prompt engineering is going to be the next big thing. Just the way they told people, go and learn computer, without you knowing how to use computer, some people not employed. That's how prompt engineering is going to be. If you look at the picture I showed you, that they had what they call enterprise-based knowledge, where, for example, like a bank will have all the information about all their products and all that. And what will happen is that the bank will put all their information into an AI model. And what you'll be doing as a staff every time is just the way you're asking ChatGPT some questions. You'll be asking those AI models some questions, and they will be providing information for you about the company. Or you want to pull out a report. I don't have to start getting my PowerPoint slide and start pulling Excel sheet. No. There's an AI presently now, which we're also using, that when you just ask the question, that how much sales was making in the last 5 months in Ikeja, it will come and pull out a graph for you, and give you a report straight. So what's going to happen? The future of work is that lots of people will need to be prompt engineers in their field, because you will be probably chatting a lot with the company's AI model instead of going to the database to pull Excel sheets and all that. So that's what I can say for now. I need to round up. Then you need to explore also building AI solutions so you can learn. There are still opportunities for you to create something around your field, around AI. I would advise you to do that. Then for organizations, first of all, you need to train all your decision makers around AI. So for example, if, for example, someone like Mr. Joel is hired into a company, I know he has his own business, or they've called to consult for a company, and they want to think about the company structure and all that. For the fact he understands 5 applications of AI, he'll be thinking that, can't we make our HR part this way, since we want to cut costs and the rest of them? So he already has that information, right? Then there are also deeper knowledge you could also have about how to apply it, strategies and all that. So a company needs to start training their decision makers about the possibilities of AI, because if a company does not do that, any company that does that first will win, because they'll be providing services faster, better customer experience, better pricing, and you'll be wondering how they're doing that. Before you know, you'll be out of business because you cannot catch up with them. Then a company needs to review their organizational year plan and identify where they can leverage AI. They need to get experts, look at the 5-year, 10-year plan, and start thinking where they can start changing things little by little, to bring in AI. Then HR has to rethink recruitment. You can't just hire anybody. Some jobs are already obsolete. as I mentioned to you, the future of work is that most times everybody will be chatting with AI models in the company to get information, to do whatsoever. So to say, okay, look at leveraging the company's policies, HR policy on this, come up with a letter of employment for Tunde, who was just hired to be senior manager. You just tell the AI just generates the email for you, you cross-check, you put on the AI puts on the company that I had in, you can ask the AI, please, can you send it to Tunde, check his email, and that's it. So what I'm telling you, I'm not telling you something that is far away, something that we are already practicing here from what we are building out here. So, and also, HR needs to understand this very well to hire the right skills. Because look here, any company that is not AI ready within the next 3 years might go obsolete. Might. Although some companies or business might not be affected, but in the next 3 years, a lot of things is going to change in the business and company landscape. Then a company should think how they want to rebuild their process entirely in a data-driven and AI-oriented way. Because for you to use AI, you need to have data. You need to have data information stored. Some companies have very bad data policies, they're not data-driven. So these are some of the things out there. So I would like to stop for now. And thank you. If you have any questions for it and ask me, probably I could just touch some areas which I didn't have time to touch. Right. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you so much, David. Thank you, Dr. David. Thank you very much. I don't know if we have heard of sugar rush. Sugar rush is a situation where a child is boring, is quiet, then for some reason you might, in fact, that's the main one we usually give them. Just give them Coke or candy, and boom, you will see the child full of energy and just going everywhere like a rocket. Boom. I forgot that David's sugar rush is IT. So we just gave it to him, and you can see he can talk like this for the next 24 hours non-stop. So
that's right.
David, for reducing and cutting the time. We are very grateful. We already have questions coming up. Somebody has raised the hand. Another person has already asked. And then somebody is also asking the question I wanted to ask. I think we can start from that. The person is asking about, okay, the same Taiwo has raised his hand too. So let's hear from him straight. Taiwo, go ahead. Olai Wala Taiwo.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, sir.
Sorry, I'm very sorry. I came late. I just saw the post not too long ago, and I chatted up and I said I should come online, that this meeting is still going on. I came late. I don't know much more about, but I just want to seek an opinion. Maybe we can get in touch with the recorded meeting. And again, I want to know more about that prompt engineering. I want to know more about that prompt engineering and how can I, get started about it.
Okay. The recordings will be available after the program. We'll keep in. You just get in touch with the admin that you spoke to. That's Somto, and that will provide it. David, over to you. But please, short response. Prompt engineering.
Okay. Prompt engineering. So there are various ways you can learn. Either you join a class that will take you through prompt engineering, which will be a fast way of learning, especially if you know you're not really inclined to this. Prompt engineering is not really so technical per se. It's more about you knowing how to smartly ask an AI model question to get the desired results, right? So online, there are lots of people with materials and videos that could teach you. So that's the second method that you can really use. Or you could just join a class, for that. Just that I've not really had time to put together a class for prompt engineering. But there are lots of materials online on YouTube to understand this.
I would prefer to join a class.
So anyway, it's left if you can put this together, we could explore that later on. All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Sylvester Benjamin, your hand is also raised. Sylvester Benjamin.
Yeah,
please.
good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. It's actually a privilege being on this platform today. Yeah. It was really interesting, I would say. And starting from the first speaker to Mr. David, I really appreciate each and every word. Personally, myself, I'm a cybersecurity personnel and a software engineer as well. So it's becoming, the session become more interesting all along, starting from Mr. Dr. David, down to Miss the HR. Sorry, I can't capture his name.
Joel,
Okay.
Joel,
okay, yeah, just Joel. So it's very, very interesting, I must say. Yeah. So coming to the aspect of Mr. David now, it's even more intriguing. So I'm able, what I'm on right now, like I feel it's even better we speak in person. I think I've met you before, but not like professionally. I think we just great path each other in Mr. Redemption offers. But I really want to talk to you probably one-on-one on some certain aspects, especially the AI model. Okay. I'm the kind of person that I follow IT trend a lot. Okay. I started with software development, then ventured into cybersecurity, and now with the impact of AI now, I'm just running up a course on AI as well with Huawei. Okay, which is quite interesting, I would say. And I have a project on that right now, which I'm working on, an AI project. So I don't know, yeah. I don't know if I should say all those stuff on this platform, but the modeling aspect, I think there are a lot to discuss about it. I don't know if how deep in understanding you are on this particular firm. Currently, I'm working on an what called spam email classification system using AI to do more of these spam email classifications. So based on my last research, the last person that did research on spam classification was Bayes. I don't know if you've heard of Bayes. It's the last person that have that released the last spam classification system so far. And okay, the challenge given to me is that I have to do something very different from what he has done. And what he did in his own project was a combination of machine learning algorithm. Okay, and what I'm trying to implement in my own research now, which is software I'm working on with Python, is a combination of SVM, a combination of SVM and LSTM algorithm. So these are two different algorithms. Yeah. Well, though I'm in
sorry.
a
Hi, Sylvester. Sylvester, sorry for cutting you. I think probably just speak with me, get my number from Mr. Redemption, and you can just chat me up.
Okay, cool.
We can understand.
That'd be better.
Right, sure. All right, thanks.
Yeah, because, let me know overwhelm the rest of the audience here. I'm
Yes,
really sorry. Yeah.
No.
All right, great. Thank you, Mr. AY. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Sylvester. Thank you so much. Ijeoma, we can hear you. You are saying that the information is plenty. Yes. What we need you to do is just follow all we are teaching, and then we have other series coming up. Just keep up, and I'm sure within the shortest time you will catch up and have a better one. In fact, you'll be a star in your school by the time you are done with us. So thank you. Any other questions? Any other questions?
Mr. Olufemi has a question.
Okay, Mr. Olufemi.
Okay, thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, actually, when I came in at about 10 a.m., I thought I could just breeze in and go back to what I've been doing. But the speakers so far have held me bound on this internet. Thank you very much for this robust training. Yeah, quick one. Anytime some of us who are not, who don't have science-based education hear about anything tech, cyber security, AI, and stuff like that. Coupled with the age bracket that is above 40, there is a kind of a scare that are you really sure I can fit in? How right am I? What I'm trying to say is that considering age bracket above 40, close to 50 and above, and coupled with the fact that you don't have science-based skill, can somebody of such terrain still fitting into all these things you are talking about? Well, I mean, learning, acquiring the skill in this area. That's my question. Thank you very much.
If I can come in, David, sorry. Dr. Isiawe, that's Dr. David Isiawe, said this cybersecurity is everybody's concern. I said I'll call him Dr. Joel said that everybody is involved, you know. So I don't see any age limits. The truth is, just like them coming to David Alozie, also, that's, let me call him Prof David. He said that productive, is it predictive? Sorry, David, I'm missing that.
Is it prompt engineering?
Prompt engineering does not need programming. So it's not for a particular age grade or a age bracket. So it's actually everybody's business, and it's something that everybody, irrespective of your age, can participate in. And in fact, you have to participate in it. Otherwise, just like Joel said, you will go extinct. So David, please.
You've mentioned part of the thing. So what I can say is this, right? Like you mentioned, cybersecurity, right? Is well, it's not like for some, it's not for some people, it's not like a skill. It's like an awareness you need to have to ensure your company data is safe and for security, right? But coming to prompt engineering, just the way it came into a point in the world or Nigeria, that if you don't have to use a computer or a laptop, you won't get employment. That is how prompt engineering is going to be. So what's going to happen is that we've been planning before now to have like a nationwide campaign to train people on prompt engineering. And I think the time is around. Probably we have to collaborate and probably with Ayo and see what we could do, you know, to take people on prompt engineering. You don't need to be so technical, right? It's more about you strategically being able to ask some questions to AI models and they answer you. However, it might not be so needed now, but what I'm telling you, the next 2 to 3 years, you know, you will be chatting with company AI models to get answers to questions about the company. And that will be most of the work you'll be doing in most companies, not far from now.
Okay. Thank you very much.
And you mean that it doesn't have to say, sorry, sir, and you mean that it doesn't have to do whether you have science based or not. Even if you want to learn and go fast.
You don't need that. Just
not about your background.
Okay. No need for that.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
As long as you use your search bar to find out queries on Google or any browser that you are familiar with, so it's just an advanced way of finding out more about a well-tailored either research or queries or a kind of prompt response. So there is nothing that has to do with science or not being science there. Just as you can use your phone and you can search queries on your phone, where can I buy shoes? And your phone gives you response. So prompt engineering is something around that. And it just makes the query, you just have to be smarter about the query and it will give you more specific response that will be more precise to meet your queries. Is that okay, sir?
Very, very hard. Thank you very much, sir.
So thank you. There are so many more hands raised, more questions coming up, but I am very sorry. I would ask you, I'm not saying your question will not be attended to, but it will be in our second session. That's in another 10 minutes. We want to take a 10 minutes break so that everyone can stretch their legs. Those that need to eat, we will send you our own meals by email, and then you can also go and get the physical food. But in 10 minutes, exactly 10 minutes, please, we'll come back and start so that we can finish 1 hour after. That is by 2 o'clock, we are done with the program. So please, let's take 10 minutes break. Then, if the time permits us, we will now attend to more questions, because we know at the end of the program, there will still be plenty more questions. And we'll rather move it to the panel session when most of our speakers are on ground, and then you can throw questions at them and they will respond. Thank you, everyone. At 12:55, let's converge back and continue. And then that's the home run. We'll be there for the home run. Thank you so much. 12:55. Please let us remember to fill the attendance. It has been sent. Let us fill the attendance so that the slides can be sent to you that attended the event.
Hello, sir. I can't see the attendance list. Where is it? Can you please repost it on the chat box?
Okay, it will be reposted now.
Okay, thank you.
Some of the threats facing Nigerian SMEs when it comes to cybersecurity. As far as awareness is concerned, there's also costs, training, and maintenance. Now, Ikechukwu Louis Bruce, he is the lead cybersecurity at Descasio. He joins us now to discuss further. Good afternoon to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Rutus, for having me.
Yeah, look, there was some news earlier in the week in Japan where Toyota had to shut down all of their plants due to a computer glitch. They ruled out hacking, so it was just a glitch. But if we bring that home, right, and how that impacted them, what would you say is the risk level for SMEs in Nigeria when it comes to these cyber attacks?
Oh, once again, thank you for having me, and good afternoon to our viewers. The risk level is very high. I have to say this in all honesty. It's very high. You look at it from two premises. Number one, what do we have as a policy as regards cybersecurity? As an SME, you want to start up something. I give a very wonderful example. You buy a car today, you know very well you have to buy insurance.
Right.
If you leave it as it was, Nigerians don't want to, what's in having insurance? I have a new car, let me just cruise and go. Because there's an insurance process, whatever you have to get insurance. And there are people that will definitely enact those laws. But if you come down to the area of cyber security, you find out that there's no proper policy. Even if there are policies, there's no proper enactment. So it goes back to how we can bring up those, if there is available, have to dust it up and make sure it's properly enacted so that SMEs can know their left from their right. Because it's not about taking your business to the cyberspace.
Right.
You might take it to the cyberspace, but do you have the contingency plan? Do you have the roadmap to say you can sustain your business even on the cyberspace? Because one attack can bring an SME down.
Right.
Straight up, yeah.
What about individuals? I got my laptop right here on the desk, so I get all my updates on what's going on. How would you assess that threat level for individuals as well?
For individuals, basically, it all boils down to awareness.
Yeah.
I walked into a bank two months ago, and there was this awareness day, like, don't share your BVN.
Right.
So basically, it boils down to awareness. Most people are not aware. Some people just buy a laptop and, put antivirus. They say, no, I don't need antivirus. Something like that. It's expensive. But being that you are going to do several things on the internet, you definitely need antivirus.
Yeah.
So as I said, go back to the policy. This is the policy that for every laptop coming to Nigeria, it must have an antivirus as a basic standard, because that's the first layer of security. So once that has been enacted, that everybody become aware. You know that you don't have to give your PIN away. You have to start using passwordless form of authentication. So this is all about awareness. So if you're not aware,
you're in trouble.
You're in trouble.
You know, you mentioned for every laptop that comes into Nigeria, so that makes me think of imports, right? Yes. Would this be any different if Nigeria was manufacturing her own computers and laptops?
No, I don't think so.
It wouldn't be any different.
Not because definitely laptops are manufactured in China.
Right.
America does not manufacture its laptop for its domestic consumption.
Right.
The same way to UK and Australia. Everything comes from China, South Korea, and even Japan. So basically, if we're to manufacture here, it will not affect us because we're talking about cyberspace. It's not that we're talking about brick and mortar. No. Cyberspace, it cuts across whatever was manufactured. And if you look at it this way, if it happens that Chinese were to put a malware into your laptop, that will affect business for them.
Right.
Definitely to affect business for them. Nobody wants to compromise their business relationship. But at the cyberspace is a no man's world. So everything is just, you are open to any form of attack because it's on the cyberspace.
Now, funny enough, one of the presidential candidates actually had this software plan to make our laptops here. What is that? Is that something that can even the mobile phones we have here? Is that a pipe dream that we can one day manufacture these electronics here?
I'll give an example with Tata.
Yeah.
How the Tata starts is Indian based, Indian grown, but now it's in sub-Saharan parts of Africa.
Right.
From India to sub-Saharan part of Africa. So that is, we can start locally and grow globally. I guess the issue with us is we don't want to start locally.
Right.
We want to start globally, and no good economy starts that way. You start locally, you develop your devices. You can develop our laptops here, start from our schools, even the government. I heard the minister talking about CNG cars. Let's start look inward. That's where we can help our economy. So if we start developing our laptops and our phones here, it will grow our economy. Then we can start scaling globally.
Do we have the training to do so? You've interacted with these people, so we have the expertise to build them here.
Yes, we have the expertise to build them here.
Yeah, fantastic. How would you assess the preparedness of the SMEs you've consulted with and dealt with respect to cybersecurity and possible attacks?
Okay, yes, I'll look at it two ways. Number one is that some SMEs are prepared, but some are not prepared because they feel as if my business plan is all about the numbers, the data, and the people. But they forget that if you are taking your business the cyberspace, you need to have a cyber plan in case of any form of attack. So most SMEs I've worked with from my organization in Descasio, find out that some of them don't have a cyber plan.
Wow.
Anything goes wrong, they are down out of business. But some actually they have a smith of, okay, this is what we want to do in case anything happens. They try to invest in the basics. They might not really break the bank, but the basics that can keep them afloat in the cyberspace.
Now, if we talk about, I want you to help me clear something up. The software obviously we're talking about, antivirus and so on and so forth. That's obviously not made here, right? So what about the cost dynamic of keeping up with this?
Wow.
Yeah.
It boils down to Benjamin's dollars. Not about the dollars, because we don't make it here. As I said, when we start making things here, find out that we might not have that issue because normal antivirus might cost you hundreds of dollars. You can imagine have several systems. So most times organizations are like, SMEs like, how can I get for all my systems on my server? So it becomes an issue. So this is what leads them to become exploited in the cyberspace. But I feel that if it's done here, it will help, and it can be done here.
Yeah,
it can be done here.
So is there anything else they can do to protect themselves beyond the purchases, or the purchases just have to be made?
For now, it has to be made. It has to be made.
Also, what other forms of protection as an SME can you get through in order to?
Look at it. Let's look at the one that's not actually financial, which is awareness, education, and training. My bosses said that if you don't train them, don't blame them.
Okay, I like that.
Because most SMEs are not aware; they're not being trained. People still, people say, okay, my WhatsApp was hacked. My bank account was hacked. Someone called me from the bank and asked for my BVN. Asked, are you now aware that the bank says you should not give a BVN? I said, I'm not aware. Most SMEs are not aware of, okay, if I go to cyberspace, am I having any form of attack? So that is the issue.
It's 10 minutes. 10 minutes off. Can we pause the video?
Before I start bringing any form of technology.
Time up.
Are you aware that taking your business to cyberspace, you are prone to any form of attack? If you are aware, that will put in the back of your mind.
Ruben, are you there?
Measures to put for your employees and also your customers, which we start from trainings. Because I find that we just train once in a while, once in a year, cybersecurity training. No, it's not that we monthly. There's an awareness about.
The video has refused to stop. But I mean, it's useful information.
It's very useful information. So please drop the link so that they can see the interviews on YouTube, so that they can still go there and see the interview. So, but because of our time, we can't continue with it. Thank you, everyone, for still sticking around and continuing. We are now on the last lap. We are just going to have 2 sessions. One is our key speaker today. That's Ikechukwu Louis Bryce. And then after that, we go straight into the panel session. It is after that, if we have the time, we'll now take all the other questions and maybe the one more speaker. But for now, that's the arrangement where our key speaker comes up to talk, and then after that, we go straight into the panel session. I hope that's fine with everyone. The others are not yet back. Should we wait for them? No, time is not on our side. We were supposed to shut down by 1 o'clock. So this is now 1 o'clock. So let's not overshoot for everyone. Somto Chukwu would come up, would read out Ikechukwu's profile, and then from there, Ikechukwu will come up. Ikechukwu will be talking for 45 minutes, of which he would have, he would know how he wants to handle the question and answer session within the whole event. Thank you. So, Somto, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Ayo. Welcome back. So our next speaker is Mr. Ikechukwu Louis Bruce. So who is Ikechukwu Louis Bruce? Mr. Ikechukwu Louis Bruce is a result and value-driven IT specialist with over 8 years of experience and certifications in Linux, Oracle, AWS, Azure, ethical hacking, and cloud cybersecurity management. He's the lead cybersecurity specialist at Das Casio, a leading technology solution provider that helps transform businesses using technology, where he leads a team of tech professionals towards providing high-end cybersecurity services to business and government organizations. Mr. Ikechukwu is married to a beautiful behavioral therapist who happens to be a female, and they are happy with 3 unique heritage. He'll be speaking to us for only 45 minutes. The first 35 minutes, he will go through his discourse, and we'll have 10 minutes for questions from the audience. So do well to note your questions. We'll be taking questions from the first 3 hands to go up. So, ladies and gentlemen, join me to welcome Ikechukwu Louis Bruce. You're welcome, Mr. Ikechukwu.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Somto. Good afternoon, everyone, or good morning, everyone, or good evening, everyone, depending on where you are connecting from. Okay, my job has been made very easy in the sense that Dr. David here has done a fantastic job, followed by Dr. Nkem, as Mr. Ayo wants to call it, and my wonderful senior boss here, that's the person of Mr. David Alozie, and everything has been set. So the time will be more of interaction, questions around cybersecurity. So that's where I'll be looking at. I'll just drift to what I have to share. So I'll be sharing my screen right now so we could let me know when you can see my screen.
We can see it.
Okay, it says here, cybersecurity from now to the future. As I said, Dr. David he laid the ground for me. He said cybersecurity, that future we're seeing Back in those days when we used to watch Danger Mouse, Super Ted, Voltron, that future is already here already. It's already here with us. So it's from now to the future. And Mr. Ayo, as I said, people have already laid the ground for my work. Ayo said something that, and I won't quote, it's from Bill Gates. He said, if your business is not on the internet, then your business will soon be out of business. Every one of us now, if I should do an investigative work on our phones, we have either Jumia, Konga, Uber, Boats, InDrive, you know them now. We have Amazon, we have Facebook, we have several apps on our phones. 20 years ago, these apps were brick and mortar. But now they have taken their essential services to the cloud. If I ask you now, where's Jumia's office? Nobody can tell me. You don't know their drop-off points. If I tell you, where's Amazon's office? You know their drop-off points. If I tell you, where's Uber's office in Nigeria? You might know, okay, there's one administrative office, but where's their office per se? So all these have gone to the cloud. And this quote by this wonderful guru has laid the premise for what we want to talk about today. Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, I can hear you very well.
Fantastic.
Can hear you.
So you may say, why is he bringing out this fact sheet? Biden signed an executive order. Charting a new...
You may say, why is he bringing out this fact sheet?
Okay. Someone's audio can mute. I'm getting the echo. This fact sheet that was produced, that Biden signed is an executive order charting a new course for cybersecurity. And I know one thing for sure. Anything that happens in the West doesn't stay in the West. Anything that happens in the West cascade down to especially when the developing part of the country, and our government probably just copy and paste. So this as well has already been implemented. It's already been implemented with this particular administration of this new government. So it's also sending a very, very new course to improve national cybersecurity and protect federal government workers. I was privileged to be in Abuja late last year, and I was discussing with top security organizations in Nigeria here on how they want to foster cybersecurity as against any form of cyber attacks. Because even the military as well, they're looking at combating threats both on land and even on the cyberspace. So, Dr. David said something that, what is cybersecurity? Is there. Cybersecurity is known as digital security, is the practice of protecting your digital informations, devices, and assets that include your personal informations, accounts, files, photos, and even your money. That's the core of it. And somebody asks, what is that's CIA? We'll call it CIA. Yes. So I can know the acronyms very well. One is confidentiality, integrity, and availability. These are the three things that actually hold cybersecurity. But your secret must be kept so that nobody who does not have access to your apps or your applications or your servers or your network will have access to it. Integrity means making sure that that information that is there has not been altered. Like I tell people, if you go to Coca-Cola's headquarters in Atlanta, the formula of Coca-Cola is in a file, and that file has been encrypted. So if tomorrow I go to that file and I make an alteration, or I copy that file and make another file, it immediately alters the former file. And with that, the integrity is already compromised. So that's what the concept of cybersecurity is. We are trying to make everyone aware. So these are things that we need to put in our minds that, okay, cybersecurity is not about, okay, being on the internet, which is good. But these three pillars must also be abided by. And the last is availability. Make sure that anytime you access information, your information can be accessed. I tell my friends who work in the IT of banks that where they have no issues, they have no control over it, that most times end of month, I don't know if you have not, end of month, find out that most banking applications don't work optimally. Should that be the case? Because that's an avenue for someone to do any hacking job needs. The hacker says, okay, end of job in Nigeria, end of month in Nigeria, we can carry out a hacking activity. Because why? Most of the bank's applications are used to service their end of month reports. So most times, the internet bandwidth is not supplied to various parts of their servers or applications. I don't go technical. I'm just giving you the overview of what I'm talking about. So reverse tryout, the same thing. Disclosure, alteration. So once there's disclosure, cybersecurity has been kicked in. As against what? As against confidentiality. Once there's alteration, that means availability has been what? Has been denied. The same thing once there's destruction. That means what? Availability has also been compromised. So these are things to ensure confidentiality These are things we need to actually do: encryption, data classification, strict access control. I want to really hammer on strict access controls for organizations. HR, don't worry, I'm coming to you. That's why I want to rush this part, this concept, so that I can get it. It's already been explained by everybody from Dr. David. This has all been explained, but I want to just give you an overview before I go back to the meat of the matter. That's what we're going to discuss. And strict access control is one thing I feel HR you can take that up. Knowing fully well that you have an enterprise, you work in an IT company, even not an IT company, it could be a service company. Nobody should have given full access or full privilege to what he wants. If someone says, okay, no, I need to access the reports for what marketing has done for this month, give him a read access as against a read and write access. Give people the privilege they need to do their jobs. After they have done it, you can reverse that privilege. That way you can, that's way you can maintain strict access control. And whenever I teach ISOs, this is one thing I tell people, that the process is very important, even as the people are very important. So next one is rigorous authentication controls, traffic padding, extensive personnel training. It is very critical. We are doing that today, training people. To ensure integrity, strict access control should also come to play. Object data encryption. Yes, object data encryption. I told you about Coca-Cola. There's what we call file hashing. If, for instance, now I have a file where I've kept all my formulas or all my patents for my company, if I've kept it and someone goes there to alter it, it automatically changes the number. Most OEMs have that. So with that, you know that your file has already been compromised, and the integrity of that file, you cannot vouch for it. So most times, most companies that work with files, work with patents, work with formulas, this is one thing they use as well to ensure integrity of their files across the network as well. So rigorous authentication controls. Nowadays, people use emails, password, fingerprint, your eyelashes and the rest, your eyelids. That is to make sure it's rigorous. Nobody's username and password again is, as someone said, I don't know who the person was, is becoming obsolete. That's the truth. Just the same way 2G. I doubt no one is using 2G here. The least any of us is 3.5G. Nobody's using 2G here. That same way, username and password is obsolete. Fine, some of us use it for our less critical applications, like maybe your Facebook, your Yahoo, and the rest, your Gmail. When it comes to some critical workloads, your banking apps, it has gone higher now. They have tokens, they have passwordless now. So that's one of those things. IDS, which is intrusion detection systems, personnel, then training, interface restrictions, input and function checks. To ensure availability, these are things you need to do. I want to rush over this. What is IAA? Is identification, authentication, authorization, and accountability. This is to be sent to you. They are clear to read. It's not they're not technical here. It's clear to read. I want to hit the road running and focus on your questions, because most of you have bogus questions, and I want to answer practically everything if given the time I have. There's risk and management. These are basically risk responses, modern cryptography. These are things for your encryption. Talk about cybersecurity. Most times you enter facebook.com, and when you hit enter, you see a blue landing page. What has happened is that an algorithm has just taken place whereby an encryption has gone, whereby when you send facebook.com, it encrypts your data. It gets to Facebook servers, it returns that blue landing page you are seeing as encrypted format, and it lands on your phone, decrypts it. That's the key, the basic high-level overview of encryption. So now, social engineering, which Dr. David mentioned about. So they say it's a noun, and I believe it is the act of manipulating people into performing actions or diverging confidential informations. I was doing a training for an NGO, and I gave this scenario. When it comes to social engineering, I want to paint this scenario to everyone to actually know. It's not for you to be scared, but for you to actually brace up. And for the HRO guys here, fine, when you go out, you network, you give out your cards, but in that could actually be a risk. I'm not saying giving out your card is not bad. It's not good. But remember that once you start doing these things, you have to ensure that at your back end, everything is secured. Because as an ethical hacker, I can pick up your card. Okay, I know your email address. It's left for me to just go on LinkedIn or go on any social media sites, or we have them as well, go to Windows Exchange, pick out the algorithms or the naming patterns of everybody in your organization. Once I get it, okay, I'll now find who is the CIO of this organization. The person should have several privileges. I'll do my work and find out how can I meet this man. Because with that card alone, I've gotten so much information about your company and I can start my hacking work. When you go for events, oh, birthday party, you want to socialize, give your cards out. But the truth of the matter is that you must ensure one thing, that back home, your infrastructure is safe. Because yeah, I was hacked. It just left for me to just send a phishing mail to everybody in your organization or a ransomware. Anybody that clicks it, he surrenders his own credentials and I now come into your network and I start wreaking havoc time by time. Something happened. I was privileged to be called upon by last year as well, a betting company. 2. One was hacked and one was about to be hacked. After one was hacked, I was called. My company called me and said, we have a customer who is a betting company. I come. They already compromised already. And the person already was already planning to do what? Damage. Imagine a company where one person, one user he hacked into one of the accounts that was available and he gave himself 3,500 privileges on Google. They are using a Google platform. So with that alone, he was going to do and undo. So that came through what? A phishing mail. So these are the concept of social engineering. So when you go to social engineering, try and train your workers so that don't click any link that is not what sent from unauthorized users. Even when it's sent from authorized users, there are solutions that can help you. That's what they were talking about, AI solutions. Yes. There are email AI solutions that see the patterns of email address and sends the IPs from where it's coming from. If an email address is coming from a place like Belarus or Russia, there are some OEMs right now. Microsoft does it, Azure does it, AWS does it, Oracle does it. Any IP coming from Russia with a very funny email pattern, they block it from their infrastructure. So these tools will help the HR organizations. Let's go along. So this is the concept of social engineering. Number 1 here, the social engineer gathers information about the clients. Number 2, the social engineer poses as a legitimate person and builds trust with the victim. Number 3, the social engineer gathers information about the victim. Number 4, it does the damage he wants to do. So this is how the circle goes round and round and round. Before you knew it, a big organization has been hacked. Now, this is the $1 million question. HR and cybersecurity. How does that go? How do you marry that? When I was employed by my organization as their lead consultant in cybersecurity, I asked them one question. Where do you store my personal data? Because I gave you the name of my wife, the name of my children, my house address, my phone number. I'm at risk. If tomorrow now somebody who hates me comes and hack into your system, he can easily find where I live and come and do damage. They told me that they have stored it on Google. Google. Stored it on Google. No, OneDrive. I mean OneDrive. It's stored in OneDrive and they have encryption secured it in the cloud. I said, okay, can I take a look at the architecture? And it was really robust. That's what my HR, not the company itself. That was what the HR did. So now let me start doing my research that why are most organizations not looking at this area? So when my boss, Ms. Ayo, called me, I said it's a good way for us to actually enlighten HR people as well. Not even HR people, cybersecurity people can go to HR and say, we need to start implementing these particular gauges in our cybersecurity structure. Because I'm telling you one thing, in Nigeria here, everybody, I don't know, wherever in the parts of the world, in the western parts of the world, if you're hearing me, you guys are already developed. Because if anybody's data is leaked, I can sue for millions of dollars. Imagine that happening to an SME. Let's say, for instance, now you're coming up and you're an SME and you are an e-commerce site. And funny enough, my card details was leaked from your website. I could sue you. And my suing you can bring that down that company. So that is that HR needs to see how they can guard against everybody's data. Let's go into it. That's the $1 million question. How can HR combine very well with cybersecurity? These are words on marbles. According to the Society of Human Resource Management, HR records contain highly sensitive and private information. As I said, think social security number for those of you in America, for those of us in Nigeria, NIN, dates of birth, bank details, and home address, to name just a few. Due to this fact, it's imperative that HR professionals not only have a comprehensive understanding of how to protect data within their own department, but also within the company. The HR personnel, you are the gatekeepers. You employ the tech guys now, you employ the CIOs. Most times you employ the EDs, so you are the gatekeepers. how well do you keep their information? Going forward, HR is uniquely equipped to humanize and promote security within an organization. And IT is missing out on an opportunity to use HR skills and insights to enhance risk mitigation. So HR has the data, they have everything. IT just need to come up with an architecture that can protect that data. Sometimes we say it's a solution to protect that data. Not something expensive, but something that is efficient. Going forward, also according to Marcy Cliffeld, that's the Senior Vice President of Employee Engagement at Business Solver, the information technology sector is not taking proper advantage of the HR department, understanding of staff procedures. And lastly on this, companies should now be utilizing their HR department to better prepare their employees for potential cyber attacks. There's a bank in Nigeria, I will not mention the bank's name. Once in a while, they send out phishing emails, ransomware emails, but they have actually they've turned off the potency. When I say turn off the potency, even if you click on it, nothing will happen to your laptop, but it will show the person that clicked on it, those who clicked on it. So they come up with a security policy that once you click on it, you get a warning. If you click on it again, you get maybe another warning. The third time you get a suspension. Then the fourth time you get a sack. And their HR department came up with that program. We worked with them, we developed it. And periodically they send it to everybody, from the MD to everybody. So everyone knows that there's some links I don't click. So they got solutions that can help them. Even if there's a solution, people were still clicking on the link. So most times, if you're dealing with human beings, you cannot outride that fact that sometimes we just want to just explore, and it affects us greatly. So what are the action points? What do HR runs? How can we incorporate HR into our cybersecurity trainings and procedures going forward? These are the ones I've just named. These are the critical ones. One, create a cybersecurity culture in your office. Now, David said something that it is the future. And David, Mr. just said something as well that AI has come to, Mr. Joel, AI has come to play. In the way we recruit, we write our proposals, AI has come to stay. So how to create even in this AI as well? Forgive me, forgive my digression. Microsoft have come up with some, because a friend of mine was asking me, this AI, how do we secure ourselves? I said, very easy. I met with Microsoft 3 weeks ago, and they said that they come up with what we call Microsoft Copilot for security as well, whereby you as a security professional, you can manage every of your enterprise from Microsoft Copilot. It will show you vulnerabilities to help you anticipate vulnerabilities and to help you as well mitigate it as well. There's Microsoft for GitHub. There's Microsoft for Office 365. You can ask your Excel, give me data, please help me and mine this data for me. Let me know the best employee I have. It will do everything for you. So that part, AI has come to help us. But why it has come to help us, we need to secure those models. Those models that we are creating around AI, regenerative AI, we have to secure those models, because if those models are tampered with, well, in big trouble. So that's what Microsoft have come up with, a solution that can help with that. Google is working on that, AWS is working on that as well. So back to what I was saying, we have to create a cybersecurity culture in our organization, in our offices. Yes, it should be a culture. In my organization, if you are working on your desk and you stand up without locking your desk, you get a fine. You get it, because somebody can go there and do havoc, because you already have access to some infrastructures of some customers, high-end customers. So most times, if you are leaving your desk, you lock your laptop. It's part of the culture. So creating a cybersecurity culture is one way to start. Number two, helping produce more comprehensive cybersecurity policies. I gave an example of the banks. Because first I say, I want to buy this technology. No, this thing must be on ground first as HR person. Before you go and buy any technology, this thing must be on ground first. Basic things. Your password must be at least 12 with uppercase, with an ampersand, with characters. Must be 12. That way, it's harder to hack. The longer your password, the more it's hard for hackers to crack it. Yes, I have tools to use to crack password and even Wi-Fi's. But if it's not too long, I can't crack. But if it's long, I can crack it. What we call John the Ripper. This will crack passwords. Let's not go there. That's the dark side. Okay. So helping produce more comprehensive cybersecurity policies. In sense that look at the bank. The bank simply said that if you do this, and who wants to get sacked? Nobody wants to get sacked or get a query, because to be in your file. So everybody has to behave himself. If a mail comes, you read it very well before you do anything. If a link comes, you make sure that this link try and contact IT that this link code, should I click on it, or they can sandbox it for you. The next one is identify the level of risk exposure regarding employee records. For instance, now, you're an employee coming from a place, a company that was hacked. It might not be your fault, but sometimes when attacks happen, there's no disclosure. Especially in this part of the world, several banks are being hacked. Several FCMGs are being hacked, but you don't hear about it. It's we in the industry that hear about it and help to get to remediate it. If I'm coming from an organization that was hacked to your organization, and you know about it during the interview, okay, and you employ me as a HR person, you have to ask me, because this risk exposure is risk exposure already. I'm coming from a company that was hacked. Okay, what are your understanding of cybersecurity? If you don't ask that question, it could be that the person that was through him that company was hacked is working to your own company without you knowing. So this is where HR have to be up on their game. Then also, you have to further educate your employees on cybersecurity risks. Then, lastly, adding an extra layer of protection against internal attacks. Very simple. If you don't have access to this, I can't give you access to, okay, I want to have access to, if someone in IT say wants to have access to what marketing is doing on their server. No, you don't have that. It should not be marketing for marketing, IT for IT. In case you need to send a mail to be documented, if it's approved, after 24 hours, once you have done your work, please let it be reversed. These are extra layers of protection you can put. Buying antivirus for your laptops in your office. These are things that you cannot add. Before you start talking about the technology, I tell people the people are important, because in the cybersecurity chain, the people are the weakest link, not the technology and not even the process. Once you put the people in check and the process, if you add technology, you have a solid, robust cybersecurity infrastructure. Okay, so with that, I want to ask for questions.
Wow, thank you so much, Mr.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
That's rich. So, but I will just ask a very quick question right now.
Okay.
It's, you didn't mention it here. You mentioned it in the interview with Rotus. You know, about how do you once there's an attack, how do you mitigate? How do you solve the problem? You know, I mean, it has happened. You know, I give an instance. We do a lot of online business. One of my colleagues, he has a site that is ranking, doing very well in terms of domain rating. His site is over 50. I mean, that's high for a business owner, you know, and for that, he has his traffic is massive. It's across Nigeria and every other part of the world. They suddenly, the site started speaking Japan. You understand? Somebody just jack it up from Japan and use it to, you know, to upgrade their own DR in Japan. So meaning that this guy will not, if anybody finds this site on Google search and clicks it, all you'll be seeing is Japanese language. And the guy did not know anything to do, so he began to call and to figure out, you know, and it took almost more than 6 months, you know, to be able to solve that problem. So the question is, when this thing happens, what do you suggest? I mean, beyond just sites, the phone hacking, emails, and all of that, what would you suggest? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for that question, Mr. Carlo. When something like this happens, like I want to give this case as a case scenario. This website, it is registered on a domain. That should be the first point of call. And did it buy SSL?
Yes.
Good. That should be the first point of call.
It has.
It has. It has SSL. That should be the first.
But apparently, it's not a high level. SSL has levels.
Because I know I'm going to do one for a bank tomorrow right now. So it has that level, as I said, they have levels. That's why if that has been the case, depending on the wild card he got, most times, most people would like to play. You have a business that is trying, but you want to play corners. They say, buy this, no, it's too expensive, and I can't buy it. If you change yourself for 6 months without business, that's going to be critical. But on a general level, once something like this actually happens, what I have to do most, you have to say you can triage it. If it's a server, remove it from the network and put it in a sandbox so you can know exactly what actually happened. It could be a virus, a ransomware, so you can start from there to start mitigating against it. Sometimes there'll be someone just clicking on a phishing link and surrenders everything. So that'll be, you have to say you can go into whether it's a server or a network you triage the system where it's coming from. Because most times, for some cybersecurity solutions, you can see who does what and who did what or who did not do what. That's why we have audit logs. So those audit logs will be the way you can start tracing who did what and what, from what system, what computers, or what devices. So that is the first. So if you, once you have done that, remove the, let's say, the contaminants, the device, remove it from the network, you can start triaging it. When I mean triage, you can start remediating, correcting what went wrong before you bring it back into the network. Okay, David has a, David's hand is up.
David, please go ahead. David, you are muted. I don't think he's...
Okay. Sorry. I wanted to ask, most times, I just wanted to add about that question Ruben asked. It's a bit technical, apart from a cybersecurity point of view. I believe it's a WordPress site. Was it a WordPress site? Because they are very prone to those security issues.
Yes.
So most times, for example, those WordPress is a heterogeneous system. Lots of different people are getting different plugins from different persons, and every plugin that you add to your WordPress, it gives access to your admin access and all those things. And that is why even those that are doing server administration, before they even download plugins from Linux and all that, like Bruce mentioned, they have to be hashing. They have to hash and be sure that they got it from the right source and it's not contaminated. So mostly I advise most clients to move away from WordPress to avoid all those issues. I don't know if this helps anybody.
Thanks. Oh yes, it does.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you very much.
So one last question from anyone? One last question. Okay. In the absence of any, we can move straight into the panel session. So our panelists are on ground. Precious, is Precious there? Precious has been quietly waiting. I don't know if he's still there. He's one of our panelists. In fact, he's a key panelist. Him and Ikechukwu. Precious, while we're waiting for him to join, is Precious, Dr. Joel, Professor David, and Ikechukwu are available, and Ruben. So what we want to do for our panel session.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
Are you talking about me, my own Precious?
Precious Olaoluwa.
Okay. I'm actually with you guys. Just that today is our CDI, so I'm currently in my community development service meeting.
Oh, okay.
So, but I'm following.
Hello. Okay. That's another Precious. Anyway, let's continue. Okay, so how we want to run it is we are going to throw the floor open. You state, that's our audience, state your question and who you want to, if you have a particular person that you want to respond. If not, any of our panelists can take it up and respond to the question. So we have Dr. Joel, who is the HR expert and the HR godfather. We have Ikechukwu for cybersecurity. We have David for AI, and we have Precious and Ruben for virtually every other matter. So we are waiting for questions. Yes, Olarinwaju, please go ahead.
All right. Good afternoon, and it's actually been a very, very informative session for me. I mean, I'm aware of the NDPR regulation. My company has been audited about 3 years now. Did a recent audit in March. So one thing I'm just because I am the IT specialist at my HR firm. Okay. One thing I just want to really keen to is, and want to ask about is, fine, there are different measures, different things to put in place for cybersecurity. I mean, it starts with whatever tools you're using, from not using cracked softwares for your office and having standard antiviruses. But all these things, as being mentioned, come at a cost. I mean, running some of these things are very, very expensive. Some are monthly subscriptions, some are annual subscriptions. So I don't know. Is there anything to I'm not trying to say that okay, ways to circumvent, but then anything can do to actually reduce the overhead cost of running the majority of all these things.
Okay, let me answer that. As I said earlier, I gave action points. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, I gave action points. I didn't. If you look at it, I didn't put solutions. I didn't put OEMs. I didn't put this. Buy this. No. With this, it's like you want to. Those is why growing up, our mothers will tell us if you bathe very well, you might not need any form of deodorant. You get me? I want to break it down. If you do this basic minimum, fine. You might need some technology here and there, but you don't have to spend much. If you do this, as I mentioned, you get the slide, which is start with the culture, because some people are not actually. Some people don't like it. Some people click anything. Some people they send anything on Facebook, they will click it. While office hours on YouTube, Facebook, they will click. They just click things. I call them clickers. So there'll just be a culture. Oh, I cannot afford to buy an email solution called Proof Points. Okay, I need to drill down. That the culture is that once you click any link and we get to know, you're going to get a fine. You can start with those basic policies. Before you're now going to then train your employees. Because as I said, if you don't train them, don't blame them. These are not financial. These are okay, basically do it periodically. Before they now get, there's an awareness. Once there's an awareness, people can now, okay, once you bring a process or a technology, people can now even buy into it very well. But what most companies do, which is actually wrong, is that they just use technology to cover up everything. Oh, there's a hack, they buy what technology can I buy? No, it's not technology, it's the people. So understand where they are coming from. Most SMEs, most organizations, dollar is going up. What do we do? Just see how you can create a more robust process around your people. And most times it's not actually cost effective. So that's just my only answer to that. Then there's very cheap solutions you could buy that most times can give you free, can use for 2 months, 3 months before you start paying. You can look out for such as well. You get me? So that's just my only contributions. If cost is an issue, of which for security is not cheap, you have to invest to secure yourself. Most times we all go into all our houses, we have burglary. Why do we have burglary? Because it's a form of security. All of us, we have gates in the house. Our estates, we have gigantic gates on our estates.
In Nigeria.
In Nigeria. Why do we have that? And we pay to put gates and pay to burglary in our own houses again. Not that we have 1 billion inside of it, but all of us want to secure our houses. Why can't secure your organization? I'm just saying that we should marry both. Don't spend too much, and as well balance everything with good processes.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much for that. So from what you said, at least start the culture first, and then have a first line of defense. So at least even if anybody gets, nobody gets sloppy, well, the damage will not be much. Unlike nobody knows anything, and when something even happens, there's no disaster recovery. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, great.
However, the thief comment not, except so the thief does not go where there is. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other questions? Ikechuku, what happened? I think he's having a network issue. He has logged out. Any other questions? My own question is there any cybersecurity for fools? You know that in the internet world, I know that's how we call it, like computer science for fools, programming for fools. So is there like a cybersecurity for fools? Because I know like 2 people mentioned that this grammar is out of this world.
I think they call it for dummies.
Okay, sorry, for dummies. Is there anything like that anywhere that we can access?
Sorry. So, like, Mommy, what I know is that there was a time I was putting together some cybersecurity training. There are some games, some educative games that are very engaging and addictive. So that will then make some staff do some game that will help them learn about cybersecurity. For example, there's one I know of, which I had then, where you will be asked some questions. If it's like a role play game, then you act as a CTO of a company, and they'll be asking you what decisions they take on a particular thing. When you take a wrong decision that could expose the company, you'll miss out of the game. So there are things like that.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Any other questions? Any other questions? It's been a long day. Bamidele Raymond, please go ahead.
Yeah, we did mention about content management systems, and we were specific with WordPress. So my concern is for starters who possibly will not have the luxury to build such a complex system. I mean, they don't have the funding. So are there alternative content management systems that may not be as cyber attack prone as that of WordPress that you can recommend?
Okay. Our panelists, the question is to you people.
Okay, yes, there are a couple of options, just that they are not popular. I know, I can't remember one or two names, but there are several options. But actually, for example, funny enough, CNN and the rest of them, most of them they use WordPress, but they use the advanced secure one. So the other ones are not, you might need a programmer to put some things together for you. That is what I can think of. But there are other ones, but I don't think they're already available like WordPress. No, WordPress is put together in cPanel. When you buy your server with all these, it comes together cPanel. But I believe there are other options there. If you go to this, there's a part of this cPanel called Softaculous. If you search for blogs, there are options that they have there. Probably you might need to do some learning to use them. So those are options to use.
Yeah, Mr. Bamble, let me just add to what David had just said. See, let's not get it twisted. As I gave the analogy, most of us spend heavy, even every month we pay security for our gatesmen that actually just drink paraga and sleep on the road. They actually don't secure anybody. So that's the mindset we all need to have, that okay, security is not about I'm buying this thing, because as David just said, if you are using WordPress, you need to upgrade to the advanced one, because the reason why they have an advanced one, so that you can pay more, so you can secure your content management. Because if that thing should go out, that's your bread and butter. I don't know what company that's your bread and butter. So basically, tell your management, let's upgrade, because the consequence of not upgrading, they're going to pay for it too. Once business is down, this show of security, whenever I interact with government, all these government agencies, they say, it's too much. I say, one hack, you know, there's how expensive one hack is once it comes. So please, let's not toil away with it, in the sense that upgrade, as David has said. If you cannot pay a programmer that can get the necessary plugins that can secure the WordPress site, then try and upgrade and leverage their support system. Please, I beg everyone, please. It's an appeal. Thank you.
Thank you. They said, if you feel education is too expensive, try ignorance.
Very correct. Very correct. Very correct.
Okay, any other questions in cybersecurity, HR, AI? Is there any other one? Cybersecurity, HR, AI.
I would like to just say that one of the challenges we need to deal with is mindset.
Yes.
If we're able to resolve the mindset of costs, or take away the mindset of cheap and free, we'll feel more protected, as it were. If we come from a standpoint of first, whatever it is we're getting, it is secure before it does the job. Or we tend to focus on the job it does before we think of security, so to speak. So usually we enjoy the benefit, and then when we are beaten, then we begin to look for a way to secure it at that point in time. Primarily, for our colleagues in HR, before you use, make sure it's secure first. Make sure it's safe. Make sure it's in compliance, so you can reduce loss, you can reduce compliance issues and all those things. And then you can enjoy for a longer time whatever it is you bought at that point in time. Right? It's like liking a brand new car, beautiful, and you want to have it, but you will not pay the annual insurance on that particular car. You may enjoy the car till December, then on December 31st, something happens, which you could have averted throughout at that point in time. So let's just be safe first with it. Mindset first. Mindset shift.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Final question, anyone? Final question? Okay. First of all, profoundly, as my people will say, at the ground, at the thank all of now. It's been awesome. It's been a long period, and most of us have been around. So we are very grateful. First of all, to all the facilitators, the speakers, from the keynote speaker to Dr. Joel, to Professor David, to Ikechukwu, to Ruben, everybody, we are very grateful. It's been a highly enlightening session. Note that by November, the first week of November, or sorry, sometime in November, we are holding the second round of this series. So we hope you'll be available and you'll help us with the publicity. But this one will not be free. So let's prepare, although it's just a token, it's a token financial commitment. So we expect you to join us for that. It will be an advancement of this. So it's not that it's the same thing we are doing all over again. In the absence of any other questions or comments, please let us fill the attendance. Let us also fill the feedback form. I think it has been dropped on the chat. There is feedback so that we know what we are doing well and what we are not doing well, and how to improve on it for the next round of the series. We appreciate everyone. We cannot appreciate you people enough. You made this program a success. So thank you very much. Any final thoughts from our panelists? 2 minutes each. Final thoughts. We can start from Dr. Joel.
Okay, thank you very much, Ayo, and thank you for the team at Coinbox for making this happen. Also, all due acknowledgement of our previous speakers who have spoken on this platform today. Thank you all for sharing your knowledge. I'd just like to extend and reiterate what we said earlier. As HR people, we are custodians. We are support. We are partners to the business itself. All right. And the business is struggling. They are being hacked. They are being dealt with from various angles. And we hold the gateway through which some of these things are entering. Of course, they enter through IT also, but they also are perpetrated by the laxity and the problems of our staff and our colleagues. Let's work hand in hand with internal departments to ensure that we are properly planned, that we're in compliance, and we are ready to survive any of these attacks so that we can ensure that our franchise, our organization eventually stand the test of time and then make the money they're supposed to make. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Ikechukwu.
Okay. Well, I want to appreciate everyone from our keynote speaker to Dr. Joel, David, Mr. Ruben, and our big boss here, Mr. Ayo. I want to let everyone know that the future is already here, because every day 300,000 malware are being produced. That's without the input of AI. Now AI has come. You can just do the maths for yourself. So, beloved, the future has come. So as well, the threat is living with us. So let's try and brace up, and let's do the necessary so we can have a secure world, a secure environment, and a secure society. Thank you very much, Combox.
Thank you. Prof. David. Prof. David, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much, Ayo, for putting this together. It's been a very great time from Dr. David to Sir Joel, to Ruben, Ikechukwu. It's been a great time. So just my few notes. The truth is this: the AI market, the AI has threats. We're talking about the threats, but it has business opportunities. And our advice to wherever you are, look for how you can leverage it to build something new. And who knows, it might be the first of a pace setter or someone with the first mover advantage that could change your profile and your business, completely. So try to gain more knowledge, try to look for how you can apply it to your business, try to create new products out of it. And you might be surprised because even from the next 6 months, we don't know what's going to happen. And even in Africa, people have not really understood it, but you could be among the first people that would leverage it to do something. All right, so I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. David. Uche, I can see your hand is up, but we will give you opportunity to talk after we've heard from Ruben Kalu. Parting thoughts.
Okay, thank you so much, and everybody has done so well. I appreciate, our contributions. So let's all come together to see how can help the business community in terms of the problem they are facing, where enlightenment and awareness is concerned. Now, for every other person, David has spoken well in terms of let's brace up, let's upgrade our knowledge, so that we can be relevant in the future. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you. Uche, you can go ahead and talk, but you have to unmute yourself first. Then after that, Olaiwola, you can also talk. Uche.
Oh, shit. Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sorry. Please, I missed out of the beginning of the lecture. And I wouldn't say I'm properly carried along. But I would like to know when the second lecture will be holding. You said sometime in September or October.
November.
November.
Yes, and an email will be sent to you with the details.
Okay, plus, was this lecture recorded?
Yes, the recording will be available. Just reach out to the admin that sent you email with the link, and they will give you the details of how to get the recording.
All right, thank you very much. I'm grateful.
Thank you. Olaiwola, your hand is also raised.
Yeah, I just want to appreciate the facilitators and the faculty for putting this together. And I would like to also appreciate Mr. Ruben. He's been a good friend and mentor for counting it a privilege to invite me for this meeting. The difference between this meeting and going for an MBA is just that I won't get certificate after now. But there is no, if I go for register for an MBA course, I won't be taught anything better than this in the regard we've chosen. So thank you for those quantum sum of informations that you've decided to share with us. Okay, bye.
Thank you very much, Mr. Olaiwola. Note that the next edition would come with a certificate of attendance. So that at least you will have something to present that you attended the program. But that's the next edition, which is in November. So let's work towards it. Thank you very much. Any other final thoughts or any other final feedback or final comments? Uche, you want to say something? Okay, JJ, please go ahead. JJ, your hand is raised.
Oh, sorry. Okay, good afternoon. My name is Jimmy Jejelola. I'm speaking from Ibadan. Yeah, so I got the link to this program this morning, and considering I'm a lawyer, first to say, I'm a lawyer, so I work with a government institution, but I have passion for anything IT. So I recall a few months ago, I did a course in cybersecurity. So on that platform, someone shared the link to this program, and I'm happy to be here. Like I said in my message earlier, I learned a lot. It suffices to say that what I learned since 10 a.m. to date is quite more than what I learned in that course that I paid over 200K for. I really want to thank the facilitators, the speakers, for the time you took out to explain some of these things. This is more like someone said, this is more than we would have gotten in some professional courses. So I've learned about HR, I've learned about AI, I've learned about cybersecurity. It's just very, very detailed, and I want to say a big thank you to everybody. I look forward to the next section, and I hope that we get all the recordings so that we can catch up on the things that we probably did not hear sometimes when the network was bad and all. Thank you so much to Coinbox and all the speakers. I'm indeed very, very grateful for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We are accepting tithes and offering towards the contribution of the program. And then we also accept, we are also looking forward to sponsorship and partnership for the next event in November. So you can reach out to us so that we can discuss that too. We would really appreciate, especially as we're talking about government. We don't know if you are an influencer there, because that is where we can reach more people. So we are interested. Thank you very much. Then Olaiwola Taiwo. Olaiwola Taiwo.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I really want to appreciate everyone. You have been being so amazing. So a lot. Though I've had a little idea of artificial intelligence earlier before. And again, what I learned today also, at least, it widened up my brain more than before. But what I just want to suggest is, would there be a way we can have a practical aspect of this theoretical aspect we had now, at least to put into practice, so that we will be able to really know what we are doing and what we are learning from. Thank you.
Thank you, Olaiwola. What you said is noted. We would have had a practical session. It's just time is not on our side. I think we will now note it down for the next one. Maybe it will be an extended. Maybe we'll break out into what do they call it? Subsets or
workshop. Workshop.
Yes. We'll make it like a workshop. So with that, we will now be able to practicalize some of these things. But for this one, like I said, we've already overshoot our time, and I must apologize to the facilitators because they have so many other things they needed to do today that we are still keeping them. But for the next one, it is going to be on hand. But for it to succeed, apart from the financial commitments you would make, we are looking forward to sponsorship and partnership to be able to make what you are requesting real. Because infrastructure-wise, it just like they said about AI, to cost a lot more to do what you are asking for, a whole lot more. So, but it is appreciated and noted. Thank you. Any final comments? One last person. One last person. Yes, we started this journey at, okay, Ogochukwu, Marianne, please go ahead.
Okay, I just want to say to appreciate the facilitators.
The sound is going off and on.
Oh, okay. The organizers of the training,
yes,
has been so insightful, talking about AI, cybersecurity, HR, and how all of these things relate. It's been so insightful. Thank you very much, and we look forward to the next one, in November. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate. We started this journey at 10 a.m. This is virtually 2 p.m. That's about 5 hours. So we are really very grateful to everyone. You made this a success, both to you and to the facilitators. Thank you and God bless you. We'll see you again in November. The videos are available for a stipend. So just reach out to us and we will discuss that with you. I think you can reach us on WhatsApp, you can reach us by email, and we are available on social media. Thank you so very much. Have a wonderful day. God bless everyone, and I wish you success in your business, on your job, in your career, and every other thing you are doing. Have a wonderful day. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.